start on my end
Great.
and hit the button here, and we're
Thanks,
live.
Carly, for that. It's great to hear. Yeah, we do. We can.
Yeah, it's fun taking this and just running with it, and I always love telling people like there's no like pressure. There's no pressure to be in any sort of way other than just to show up authentically and speak as I am. Hey everyone. Word.
Oh, nice.
Start on my end. Yeah, it's
Great.
hit the button here, and we're live.
For that. It's great to hear.
Yeah, thanks y'all for joining us today. So good to see you. Yeah, so we were just gonna start off, or Marie, did you have something to say? Oh no, okay. We're gonna start off with a quick video today, so we'll jump right into that.
Oh, and Justin, you look so hot on Miraculous Monday, the show. It was your born day, and you could literally just you could see the magic coursing through every ounce of you. You were aglow,
I
and
felt
all,
it.
all the chicks were like, "Oh, Justin! Oh, Justin! Oh,
Well, I
Justin!"
wasn't I wasn't hot. I was actually really cool, 'cause that's the way to be, right?
Ah, ah, that's good.
All right, here we go.
I love this song.
You can do magic. Let's do some magic today.
I love that song so much. My kids love that song.
Yeah, yeah. All kids love that song because all kids are magic. And the brilliant thing about how they wrote that song is that they wrote it from the perspective that you are magic, of course, and that you can deny your magic. So instead of trying to tell you, you're hopeless, you're helpless, but you got to do all these things. What they're showing you in the song is that no, you are magic, and all the things that you do wrong are what are taking magic away. And so when you cast those spells with your eyes, it's you who denies the magic because you're you're casting black magic again. Um, as soon as everything is removed from my plate and I simply have time to sit down, I will complete the book in short order and have it out for everyone. And then it'll be like a Bible in the sense that it'll be a go-to book that you'll wear the covers off because it's just you just go in and out, back in and out, in and out until you've mastered it, and then you teach it, and then hopefully there'll just be tons of spin-off books associated with it as you take your genius and apply it to what's being shown. But again, taking back your language and understanding the heart and soul of our reality, which it's all God's symbols, it's all God's numbers. It's all beautiful. When you start speaking it in white magic, then you are magic. And when you speak black magic spells, you are the one who denies the fire. You are the one who can put out the fire. Don't put out the fire. The fire. What were you saying the other day, Justin, about of all the other elements of the earth and all of the other phenomenon? It's the fire that they have no answer to, right?
That was
It's
that
the
was
fire that is pure living.
Yeah, that was Ember who said that. So just to give credit where credit's due, but yes, that's very true. It is the one element there. You can't distort, you can't diminish. You can't toxify, as I think is how I put it. You can't
Can't
yeah,
distort it.
yeah, you can't distort it. It's pure, always,
So
no matter what.
yeah, and only you are the only one who can put out the fire. They tempt you. That's what this sin is falling into temptation. And that's why they exist 24/7, and that's why their system has to be everywhere. It's why you need a fishing license if you want to go fish. It's why you need a license if you want to go to a park. It's why you need because they have to go with you, and they're there They're there to cast their black magic spell over you in every moment. So they're just trying to influence. They can't read your mind. Again, there's all this stuff that is so. This is all the problem with this alien stuff. Is that and Santa Surfing has been putting out. Colleen's been showing me. She's been putting out. Just remember what the Ghost of Ezra said a week ago. No matter who it is, no matter who it is, right now we are in the desert and everything you're seeing is a lie. So just remember all of that. And that's the danger with all this alien stuff, because then it leads to, because it's not plausible and it's inexplicable. So then the great blame it on is the alien. Blame it on the alien. So they can read our minds. No, they can't. No, they can't. You are so perfectly made. You don't have to worry about anything. It's just that you're predictable when they have you in the mid or the lower brain. When you're here, it's impossible for them to predict you. It's impossible for them to control you. That's why they take you away from Sherlock Holmes and they put you to the VCR or to the reptile. And then they can predict what you will do. This is all about, so pick a card, any card, I'll pick your favorite color. They know you better than you know you. And they know under pressure which number you're going to choose, which you're more predisposed to choose a certain color when you've been challenged, when you're in fear. And then the color becomes red versus then blue. It's so simple. And that's all they do. They can't read your mind. There are no aliens coming to either harvest you or to save you. And you know that this is true because if there was, what would you have gained? If a group of aliens came here and saved us, what would we have learned? Call 911 alien every time we get ourselves in trouble again and they'll do it for us? Is that God? Is that God's message? Or do you need to become Christ-like and God-like by doing the work and by becoming strong? This is the thing. When you do it yourself, you become strong. Marie on the Miraculous Monday show just dissing me the whole show. I can't believe the nerve of her. She just every chance she got, she's just digging it to Charlie. And no. But she's saying, and Charlie's so strong and he wouldn't mind me saying that. And it's like, because I do shit. And it's because I've done all of this because I can teach it because I've done all of this. And so if there is strength in Charlie Freak, it's because he's a doer. So I have a license, and I have a license from God to be able to teach it or speak to it because I've done it. And so that's all you have to do now. All you have to do is learn from one who's come before, just like me, and then you do it, and then you will become the brilliant teacher. And then you will inspire a whole series of brilliant teachers. And then when we've created enough of them, the whole earth will completely change. It totally will. So you have to do the work. And that's the great thing, right, Justin, about our family here? They're doers.
Yeah, not going to tell you anything that we're not willing to try or do ourselves or haven't already done. That's the thing. And if I haven't done it myself, but I trust that someone else has done it, then I'll tell you that. I'll say I haven't done this, but I trust that this is the right way. And this is how we do it. This is how we just move forward with that. And yeah, yeah, well said. And I think, to draw on a helpful reminder for me to look at sort of dark spells, or even so dark magic or black magic or white magic, both of them require you to have so say if someone's casting a white magic spell on someone, a healing spell, trying to send healing, whoever's being healed has to have that faith, that healing within, and then they have to invoke on that, and that's what allows that true healing to transpire. And the same happens with black magic, with dark magic. You have to have that fear embedded within you for them to take advantage of. They rely on this fear programming, this sort of underpinning within you for them to perform these black magic spells and to have effect on you. So when they conjure up things like aliens and demons and whatever else, they become that much more real to you because you've already got that fear within you, that belief in you. So you're actually projecting those demons, those aliens, whatever, into your reality, and they are affecting you in some sort of way, but they're not really there. They're projecting from your own consciousness, from your own reality. We are the only projectors within this space. We are the only thing that's here to do that. So just remembering that we are truly powerful and we're taken advantage of in that sort of way.
If I can just chime real quick too, I think that the message is that just because you did it yesterday doesn't mean it's good enough for today either. That every day is the journey, and every day it's a commitment to that. And I think that that's what's been so prominent in these last few months of like, okay, well, this is a daily journey. Every day I've got to rise again. And I love that part of it, that opportunity. Every day is such a gift to do this work and to be a part of this community and this family. And about the alien bit, one of the things that you said a while ago, Charlie, that really resonated with me was just that, because a lot of people are attached to like Pleiadians and Arcturians and like this, it's just levels of consciousness. And like when you said that made perfect sense to me. And I think that, correct me if I said that properly, but like that, it's almost as if they're like angels or levels. And so for me, like, I can resonate with that because it feels supportive. I think a lot of people are really tied to wanting something from the outside to heal and not willing to do that inner work. But so if you want aliens to be a part of your story, just go inward, close your eyes, spaces inside. And it's beautiful in there. Like that, those are the colors, those are the stars and like all of the fun shapes and geometries that we see. It's an inside out job, but it's like during this detox, what's happening so much, and Justin was talking about it too, this is getting cleared out. Like I can feel it. I can feel this part of my body and my ears getting cleared. And my meditations now are so much broader and so much just pretty and sweet and colorful. But it's a clearing of some of those programs, I think, too, of where I've been locked in and where those spells could get in touch with me was where I was still holding on. And that's what's getting loosened up. It's like, call them the Pleiadians, whatever, like it's the spirit of love that's moving that through because it knows that I don't need that to do this work. Like I need to get rid of that so that I can just be who I was designed to be. And then every day I'll do what I'm supposed to do to be a child of God, and then I'm going to have an experience all that is my inheritance, all that's coming to me, because that's what God is. God wants to give, but we're the ones deflecting.
Marie, that's absolutely so, and it's brilliant. Thank you, and thank you for sharing it. And it's very important because what it also shows us is how they lie to us about everything, including what the ego is. So through their little ape is Sigmund Freud. Freud created this complex ego in the and just into something that big saying is that it's so stupid that don't look into this. It's so complicated, and it's like everything else. Don't look into this. And if you do, you get and that's what they do with all of their lies. Like the Holocaust. There was in World War II, but it was on the German people. But if you say that, you can literally be put in prison for the rest of your life. So if what they were saying was the truth, and of course what they would do is they would encourage people to challenge, just proves what they're saying is the truth. Because every time you try to something is the truth, you disprove what a lie would be against it. So it's the greatest weapon that the truth always having it, because all it does is prove it. And this is where you get like George Airy and Airy's failure. He didn't go into this trying to disprove gravity or disprove the globular or spinning Earth. He went in to prove it. And when he attempted to prove it, he couldn't. And that's why it's called Airy's failure, because there is no motion. There can't be. The whole point of everything is connected to the Father. And the Father is stillness and silence. So what do you think the Earth is? stillness and silence. And God and God's creation is the truth. And what is the perfect metaphor or representation? And it literally means that. What is a representation of the truth? That's what level means. Are you on the level? Yep. I'm telling you the truth. I am absolutely on the level. Of course there is level. Of course it is. That's what water does. Water spends its entire life seeking what's level? Balance, which is the truth. It's so simple, and it's so talk about doing the work in here, and that it's all coming out. Things just becoming clearer. It goes and everything's
Charlie,
just so
we're kind of
sweet.
losing your voice
When
a
you
good bit.
activate the pineal, hold on for a sec. When you activate the pineal gland, all of this is literal. It's allegorical, of course, because it applies to everything, but it's purely literal. So that what Marie is saying, you know that she's telling you the truth because she's saying, she used the word everything is sweet. It's so sweet. And that's because she's activating the pineal gland, which is the sweet honey. This is well. So that you get through the pineal gland is sweetness. This, by the way, relate in terms of its etymology. It relates to purity. So, and that's what you see of Marie and Justin. So when you listen to them, you hear purity. When you look at them, you see purity because they're activating their pineal glands and they're sweet and they're pure. There's a lot to describe Justin and Marie is sweet and pure, and not from some of the connections to the out there world, but I mean they see everything upside down. So this is the Dane-Gillian stuff. Remember this, everyone, is that it's technologies that govern you. They can read your thoughts, they can read your mind. They can the big one that's been coming for the last 2 years is that they plots into your head. And then that whole thing, what was that syndrome called where history began to change?
Mandela effect.
The Mandela, and they were really, who was pushing this Mandela effect? And that, suddenly it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I always used to think that it was the Bernstein Bears, Baron Bears or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, Mandela effect. Oh my God, Mandela effect. And it's all a complete lie. You are in charge of you. You do mad in a single moment. Only they're the ones that are telling you can't. And you believe them. And then this is what I just want to end with, and we'll jump right into the show because we got so much to do this. This is the lie of the ego, Sigmund Freud and the complexity, and don't look at it deeper. So everybody thinks that a person who is egotistical is one who thinks that they're so great and they go on and on about themselves, and it's ego, 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 ego. No, that's not what the ego means at all. And Marie was just showing this in her explanation of it. What the ego actually is you think you're worthless. And we see this by the aliens. That's why they pimp the aliens. Because all credit to the aliens, none to you. Who built the pyramids? Not us. We're a bunch of idiots. Must have been the aliens. Yay, aliens. Stupid mankind. Stupid human being. Yeah, aliens. And then it's like Marie was just explaining like the blue avians or the Palladians or whatever, and she was saying how I teach it is that of course that's higher realms or consciousness within you. It's you. So why don't you give you credit for connecting to you and connecting into your brilliance that God bestowed to you for free forever? But you don't give credit to you. No, it's a blue chicken person. With blue wing, you bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken every time they come and save you because, that makes no sense. it's you. That's what the ego really is. Have no sense of self. You have no self-confidence. You have no sense of self. Not, oh, this full of ego because he thinks he's so great or whatever. No, it's you have no sense of self. That's what the ego truly is, because you've given control over tapeworm side of you. So please come and say, please come and say. And if any of that were true, and they're listening right now, then listen to Colleen and I. Don't come and save us. We'll do it for ourselves. You can go, you help others, but you don't come near us. We need to figure this shit out for ourselves, and we need to master this. We have to become the masters, not the star. I'm a rock star, and I decode rock and roll. I do. So go blue chicken wings, go someplace else that needs you. We're mankind and we're brilliant beyond description, and we'll do it ourselves. I'm going to turn Colleen's here.
Do it ourselves, aka Charlie Free. That's another line we're going to add to the list.
Yeah.
Calling Charlie Freak lines. We'll do it ourselves. But I think you raise a really important point. I know we want to get into the show. Yay, Colleen, yay. But just that we're good enough. I think that we have the complex, that core belief of not being good enough. And so we're so afraid we've got our ego and our self all mixed up. And that's what this is, an invitation to really clarify, like, who are you? And are you willing to accept your brilliance? Because that's what it is to be a child of God. It's not like this, no, I'm not good enough. And we've all been trained in that system. I mean, it's so prominent worldwide in every aspect. It's coming at us from all different angles. You're not good enough. There's some kind of lack in you and your reality. And there isn't any of that. None of that is true. That's part of the lie. So yeah, I just wanted to add that, good enough aspect. It's a core belief. It's something that we really need to weed out. We are good enough.
Exactly, and it's become a core belief, but it's not a core belief. It has nothing to do with mankind. It's like, making us as kids play ball, and there's a bigger kid on the mound, 60 feet 6 inches away, throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastball at you, where you have a split of a second to determine the ball it is and what kind of swing you're gonna. And then if you don't hit it the first time, go out in right field. Or go play with the kids across the street, because you're not cut out for baseball if you don't hit it the first time. What? This is it practice, and you become the master through practice. But we're judging people because if you can't skate fast, don't play hockey. Go sit with those kids over there or something. Hilarious. It's hilarious. So none of it is true. And one other quick thing I was just going to interject with everyone is.
We're losing the voice again.
When you're doing anything, how when you're doing that relates to mock text, or you're making something, you're doing art, created is what's called this lore. Everyone's seen that? And it's Lorem is something that looks like it's, but the words don't make any sense. And so I want to explore ipsum. Lorem in and of itself means nothing, but lorem ipsum is to something that Cicero quoted. What Cicero talked about was dolorum ipsum, which means pain in and of it. And isn't it interesting that this fake text that the publishers uses, but they don't want to say anything, they call it lorem ipsum. They don't say dolorum ipsum, because that would be a giveaway. So they just say lorem, what the Publishers Guild calls it as text. Are you getting this yet? They're showing us in plain sight that what they feed is dummy text for the dummies. and that when they feed us lorem ipsum, then that is pain in and of itself. So this is what they dish out to us, and it's all part of the reason why we suffer of the ego and why we have no self-worth. Because when you put shit in, this is when you put crap in, you get crap out. They are the ones who are controlling what goes into us, and in particular our kids. And if you don't let them, they'll take your kids away from you. That's how the is. So it happened to produce crap out. So I wanted you to see that lorem ipsum is dolorem, means pain in itself. And then the Publishers Guild, those who print everything that goes to the masses. This is the publishers of anything important that goes before millions of people, like a school textbook or a bestseller on the New York Times list. This is the publisher. What did they call lorem ipsum? Dummy text. Dummy text for that's why they have purposely worked hard to turn us, and I wanted to present that to you. The lorem ipsum is lorem ipsum, and it's pain in and of itself when you don't know the truth. When you're fed lies, then you will suffer pain in and of itself. Pain, not passion of the Christ, not eternal blood in heaven, the Father, but pain in and of itself through the lies.
So it's like a
That's what our history, our black magic spell, our schools are black magic spells, TV, movies, magazines, everything from them is a black magic spell. That the evil magic, which is your ego. Okay, Justin.
All right, ready to hop into this?
Yeah, I think that it actually is a really good intro to chapter 13.
Yeah.
Chapter 13 is filled of like, hey, this is this and this is that. This is black, this is white. Here's all the parables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we're going to try and get through a few more chapters today than we do normally. So we're not going to be reading the whole text, but we're going to be kind of picking bits and pieces that jump out to us, and just kind of sharing that way. So in chapter 13, the very beginning, the very beginning does jump into parables, and it's a good parable. So I'm just going to read this one. So 13:1, the same day went Jesus out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, that he went into his ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of the earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But the other fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some an hundredfold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And then it kind of jumps into where the disciples ask Jesus why he's speaking in parables. And I think it's really important to sort of draw on to this. And the way I see it is Jesus is really like identifying how the whole Bible is supposed to be read and written. They're all parables. They're all supposed to be for us to decode. And so Jesus actually breaks down some of these parables for the disciples and decodes them in a way, but I imagine there probably are some more layers within that, but that's supposed to be the kind of like hint to us to say, hey, everything that's being said is a parable. Everything that's being said is an allegory. It's for you to find out and you to figure out. So it's important to read that, because this is how this is God's brilliance in preserving this sort of text, because when we can encode certain things, and it's only decoded when you're within the right brain, when you're within communicating with God, then it preserves it in a way to where these demons and these left brain this adversary that we have before us, they don't even know what's going on. They don't even know how to process it or what to remove. And so a lot of people criticize the Bible for having large portions of the text removed, and there are definitely some aspects that have been removed that we'll get to find out eventually, and those likely have a lot more literal representation. They're a little bit more obvious way of looking at this truth. But what remains, it's still very, very, very truthful because it's just a little bit more heavily encoded into it. And that's the gift of these parables and these allegories, is they help to preserve them in a way and keep them from being uncovered. And I thought it was also interesting that Jesus refers to them as they, like the Canaanites, the Phoenicians, or the Cabal. We always like to say they, like those guys, them. And it's like we know who that is, but for someone who's not quite aware of that, and you hear the they, it's like, who's they? Who are you talking about? Who's they? But Jesus does the same sort of things. He says, um, yeah, therefore I speak to them in parables, because they seeing not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. Essentially saying that if you're in this left brain mentality, you're not going to understand this way of thinking. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of introductory thoughts there. You got anything with that?
I think it's perfect. I mean, this morning we had a meeting with immigration, and she was saying they all, they, and I was like, thinking we were doing this last night together, and I was like, here we go, there's they. And I said to her, like, well, don't we all belong here on planet Earth? I mean, isn't this where we're from? Why do we have to prove, go up there and then fill out that paperwork and come back and prove this, this whole rigmarole just to exist here? This is my planet too. Don't I get? She goes, well, they run the system. She pretty much admitted that we were operating as slaves to them. So it's really fascinating that this is here, and that and she said, well, you could not do anything, but you could get arrested or all this stuff. But yeah, since the beginning, there's been this issue that we've been dealing with, this conversation between them and us. It's really important. I unless there's anything else on that, I wanted to skip ahead to 1331 and the mustard seed. Do you want to jump in there, Charlie?
I will, just for a sec, because it is so important. Great point. Remember, everyone, migration, it's very, very important. So it doesn't matter which go to most
You're still losing your voice, Charlie.
For everyone to do that, no matter where you go, if you deal with immigration, you're going to have people, because they're handpicked, they're to be a certain way, and that dangerous. This is the people sping for a paradise.
Yeah, it's like it's getting pretty choppy there, Charlie. It's hard to make out what you're saying.
Okay, you guys go 1331.
Okay. Well, and just to kind of complete that thought, I mean, this parable specifically, about where we cast our seeds, and I think a important distinction to draw on is just we have to start with where we're placing our seeds before we can expect them to grow root and to actually grow within us. And that goes back to the importance of purifying your body to be that clean soil, so that when God plants the seeds, God is the one who plants the seeds. He's the one that provides us with that life. But we have to make sure that our soil is good soil. We have to make sure that we are prepared to have these seeds, and we can't be consumed within our mind or consumed within toxicity within our body. We're not going to get them, and they're not going to grow. So it's just important to remember that, and that's a good parable to remember it, because he says the parable and then he breaks it down in 13:18 through 23, and kind of breaks it down a little bit more clear sort of way. But yeah, that's all on that. So Marie,
Did
take it
you
away.
see the word anon in here? Did
Yeah,
you see it in
yeah,
1320? I was
yeah,
like, what is
yeah,
this? Yeah.
yeah. I highlighted that. That was funny.
But he that received the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth. I wonder what that means. I don't know, Charlie, if your video's working, but that kind of, I had it underlined.
Yeah, well, and remember, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay. So remember that anon is tied into the word Latin word siempre. And siempre is always. So the expression here is is well in English it's always and evermore, and here it's siempre and non. So it's always and evermore, always and evermore, and this is why we are the anons, because we are eternal, we are evermore, and this is the significance of the usage. At any time it is using anon, and this is the non, the great reason why you must be on before April 1st and not become the April Fool, because the April Fool will going around the wheel again and again. Either way, experience it in part of the night, you can experience it as true, pure heaven.
Well, and it says too, I mean, even before we move on, like, for verily I say to you in 13:17, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them. And that's kind of speaking to what we were talking to earlier, just that many people want to see what we're seeing and they're not seeing it. And I think that we can receive this with that gratitude, with that on and on, receiving the goodness and the joy of God. That's what he wants for us. And I think that that's what many other people want, but are not maybe willing to do some of the deeper things that are required here, which is to say you don't know when you don't know, and to be humble, and to, learn new things. And I just think so many grown-ups these days are just really stuck. They say they want it, but they think they already have it. And that's part of the problem, is that we have to really just be totally open and let go of so much of what we've learned. Um, yeah, and it's just saying that right there. It's so beautiful.
yeah.
So I really
Yeah,
like
and
this. Please.
just quickly, Marie, if you can hear me, okay, let me know if we're not coming through. But if you can hear me, okay, 17 is attached to 18 and 19 very powerfully, and 17, 18, 19 is the heart of chapter 13. It truly is. So what it's saying is that there are many righteous men that have desired to see those things which ye see and have not seen. So what is the message here? What is the parable? What is the problem? Why are the many who are righteous and why not able to see and hear what thee see and hear, those who have done the work? Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in the heart. This is he which received the seed by the wayside. They like to use that word a lot, don't they? Wayside and the wayfarer. And so this is why in just earlier, once again the allegory in bringing in the fowl by the side of the road, because some of the seed will fall to the side of the road, will be devoured by the fowl of the air. And so again, going back into Matthew 12, what does Jesus teach us about this not trusting in God business? What Jesus' parable, the example of the fowl of the air, for they tend no crops. They do not hunt and store over the winter for replanting in the spring. They simply trust that there will always be seed by the road, and they will be able to gobble it up. They taketh what they receive. Do not look a gift horse in the mouth. Take, and so without thinking at all, a fowl is far ahead of us because they take no thought, and in taking no thought, they simply receive the abundance of God's creation. But if you want to go further than just being an empty vessel, an empty plate that just sort of is provided for endlessly, then it means that you have to become awakened and aware. And if you're not thinking for yourself, if you're not for yourself, then what does it say in 13:19? Then the wicked will come, and they will look for you. And isn't that what organized society is? And is everything that these wicked institutions teach us, is it not a lie? And all of that comes because we are not prepared to understand these parables. We are not prepared to think for ourselves. And somebody will always is ready, willing, and able to think for you. And those are the Canaanites. And they will populate with their denizens. So this is why you must do the work, become strong, because you've accomplished something on your own. This is the only way. This, again, the reason I worked on this is because this talking about aliens, you don't eventually this is the thing, is that you cannot anyone else to come, and if you do, surely the wicked will find their. This is why Marie Colleen always remind you that if we change, if we don't start doing the work ourselves, and if we don't change ourselves, all this is going to do is buy 30 years, 50 years, 60 years, 100 years back. They'll be back again because we didn't do work, and we didn't. That's why it's so very, because if you don't learn it for yourself, they'll have found a way. This is the theme that they're looking inside of you, and you're providing within you by not doing the work for yourself. You have to do this yourself. There's no.
Wow, just spot on what I could hear. But there's something that happens when you start doing it too, that there's less space for that wickedness. That's the point, right? That you get into a groove, so it's easier to stay on the level. But yeah, and the change that's required in us as a society is required in each one of us. And I think that's what gets me sometimes, is just that resistance to change. It's like we want to have these peak experiences of God, or do we want to experience God? And I think that what we're trying to say, like, let's experience God just all the time. It's so much more fun. Life is so much more peaceful. It's easier. I'm whole. I'm with my community. But everyone wants these like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And there's too much space in between there for the wicked to come in. And so then it does feel like, we take 2 steps and then we take 5 back. And that's been a lot of my past. And that right now it's just feeling much more like forward moving in the right direction. So I wanted to say that. And then,
thanks for that.
do you have anything, babe?
Um, no, no, nothing more at this moment.
Well, I just like this 13:31. I just wanted to speak to it because it's so beautiful. Another parable he put forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, it is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. I just, it's like reading that again last night and just really love that because it's saying what we've been saying here too, that we're growing. Even the least of us can do this. Like, this is not about someone having special gifts or, being tapped. It's all of us from the lowest of seeds can become these beautiful trees, and even the birds are going to come and hang out with us. And I just like, I'm fascinated by birds and trees these days, and the colors of the birds and everything. It's just, God's creation is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful that this is the truth. So it doesn't mean that we have to be special or have to have any whatever. It's like, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but that's what I took.
Yeah, and we're not worthless. We're not worthless as we're told by the church. This is a clear passage to show how powerful we are, as long as we have that faith and that desire that we're trying, we're doing this work. Like we do have all of those capabilities. So yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful passage for sure.
Cool.
Charlie, did you have anything to say on the mustard seed parable before we move?
Yeah, for sure. Again, you remember all the time that it's the tree. Remember that's you. So you are the tree of life, and remember that this is the Christed tree. And so if we don't raise Christ consciousness within us, we're not really alive, and that's the real truth. So anytime you have one of the parables about the tree, and so the least seed amongst us is this is new wine in a new wineskin. This is taking creation seriously. This is doing the work. This is the right breathing. This is the right food, and this is the right sexual ejaculate out your essence. You do not ejaculate Christ consciousness out into the physical. The right mind would do something like that. So this is what's being said. And then what is the gift when the tree grows? Well, the birds come and they abode within the tree. That's your bird brain. You're supposed in this dichotomy of our upside down world, that's a put down. When somebody says you bird brain, they've turned it and twisted it into that, like somehow you're a dummy if you're a bird brain. No, the origins of bird brain comes from the Bible. It comes from the teachings of Jesus Christ. We're all supposed to be bird brains because supposed to sow our seeds in good with good thoughts and good vibration and let them grow high. Birds will develop. Henry is a bird. She's connecting powerfully to the higher mother reality where the birds abode. And just went up to the top where she was above. These things, they're accidents. You that that's all an accident, or is that what she had to by making these little excursions, these little things? Weeks ago, and Danny Marie would never have problem up into the highlands, into the
Charlie, we
mountains,
really
must
can't
be
get,
high.
really not getting what you're saying. It's like every other word. Um,
I wonder if
but
it's
yeah,
a come out and come
Yeah,
in.
let's just go to you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you want to try
yeah.
rejoining?
That you guys, yeah, you guys
I'm
just
back.
keep going.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
back. Sometimes that helps.
yeah. I hope so. Um, did you have
I love
anything more to say?
I just
Yeah,
love that you said that we are the tree. That like really got me good. That was exactly what I needed to hear today.
yeah.
So good.
truly. Yeah, and then and also in chapter 13, a little bit before he tells the parable, and then he goes to explain it after 13:33 of the sort of the harvest and what we're here to do. And this is, we've spoken about this before, but this is a choice. Like we are to choose actively in this time to be the wheat or the chaff. And it's not for this sort of like scary, ominous thing that we're going to be judged or cast aside or anything in that sort of way, but it's just representation of how this is transitioning and how this sort of creation goes about. And I love how like even in 1340, as therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. And I wanted to draw on the term world as a representation of this sort of false construct that they've made. And so this is not the end of Earth. This is not some solar flash that's going to end everything and we're all going to be burned up and done for. This is the end of their world. This is the end of that false world, the illusory world that they've created, where we can step back into our divinity and step back into our Godhead. And hey, yeah, that looks better, better connection. Um, but yeah, so it's just drawing on this. Like we have to get very clear. We have to make a choice, and there's no standing on the sidelines. There's no being lukewarm with this. It's a clear delineation between right and wrong. And so that's what he's describing here.
A lot of people are afraid of these parts of the Bible, though, too. I mean, the fires and the wailing and the gnashing of teeth and all of that. I mean, if anybody wants to break that down, it sounds pretty scary to me. But then the righteous shall shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. I mean, he says that at least 3 times. I should have counted properly, but it's at least 3 times that he says that. So he's like saying, look, here it is.
Yeah, it's well, and then it jumps into the next two parables about when we've discovered this truth, the truth, when we've discovered this way and how we are to be, we can't go halfway in it. We've got to be all fully committed if we truly want. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like the treasure hidden in the field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath and buyeth that field. So when you discover the truth, you go all in. You're not just like, oh, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think I'll be really good and righteous, and then the rest of the week I'm just gonna let it go and eat some animals and go do whatever I want. Like, no, it's all in. It's fully committed 100%. And again in 45 where it references pearls. And then when you see that that pearl of wisdom, that gift from God, you want nothing else but to cast, to spend your whole life seeking it. And that's the goal. That's the alignment. But we can't be half-assed. We can't be half-assed with this. It's got to be 100% fully committed. And so again, that goes back to this harvest and what we're talking about. Because if we're not all in, then it's part of it. It's the separation between the wheat from the chaff. Those who want to grow and progress and move forward will do so, and those who need more time to recuperate and learn some more will do so. And that's just it's grace. It's that natural cycle of those who are ready to move on will, and those who aren't will continue. And that's that wheel that we can decide to step off of at any point in time.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah,
Say a little bit more.
Yeah. Um, why parables? Can you hear that okay?
yeah. You can hear that.
Okay. So again, why parables? Because in the using of parables, it forces you, as Justin alluded to earlier, it forces you to reason, which is the higher mind, which is the frontal lobe. and that is getting ahead of the game. So you have a head, and your brain, which can be divided into two hemispheres, has three sections to it. You have frontal lobe, midbrain, and the lower brain. Lower brain, very simple, fight or flight mechanism, what people refer to as the reptilian brain. The midbrain is your VCR, and it passively, lazily absorbs whatever you're putting your attention to. So if you exist in organized society, it's recording everything your teacher's saying. Can you imagine how sick that is? I just want to delete all of those files. Anything a teacher ever taught me, if I could hit the delete button, Control Shift Delete, I would do that in a split second. But unfortunately, it isn't working that way. So you must stay focused, and that is your frontal lobe, which is ahead, which is A is God. So that's the Godhead, and that is the bird brain. So when you build your tree and your tree rises goodly and godly, the birds will come and sing their songs to the wishing well. The wishing well is your pineal gland, and which activates the goodly pearls of wisdom, which is the pituitary gland, which then opens up the hypothalamus, which is you, which is the child, and that is melatonin, serotonin, and dopamine, and those are the three godly secretions, the three saintly secretions of the three wise men coming from the east, which is righteousness, which is God. So the parables are all there to tie into the enormity of God's creation within you. And so by doing everything with regard to parables, it's showing you the very principle of creation, which again is the Hermetic principle: as above, so below, as within, so without, as with the universe, so with the soul. If that's the truth, if what I'm teaching you is the truth, then what better way to teach the Hermetic principle than in allegories, than in parables? Do you see that? That's why the night sky was created. The night sky was created as a parable, a pair of bulls for you. The left bull and the right bull. You take from it. It's the same thing with the moon. Everyone now in the truth community is scared, they're paralyzed by the fear of the moon and the power of the moon, and when she begins to wax and her powers. Control her, teach her, show her that she is the righteous Mary, not the whore of Babylon. So you have to control the moon. But I can't. The moon is so big, and it's 237,000 miles away, and it's evil, and there's it's not even really a moon, it's an alien craft, and there are aliens living inside of it, and they're controlling us. And it's like, no, it is a luminescent. It is a light in the sky, and you have to control it. You control her, because you are the center of all things, and you're the power of powers. So again, the moon is emotion. Make your emotions work for you, not against you. How do you control your emotions? Right hemisphere of the brain. When you are out, so if you want to control the moon, when she begins to wax, so there's 2 weeks on. Can't hear us?
No, you're good.
Okay, good, because this is really important. So there's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off with the moon. Wax on, wax off, right? Get it? That's where it comes from. Wax on, wax off. 2 weeks with the moon. When she comes, you better be around the campfire. Because when you're around the campfire, that's God, and that's God's light, and that's photon. And so you sit around the lion in the lion's den, and all the cubs are there with you, and it's beautiful, and you're sipping on your favorite beverage, and you're telling your favorite allegories of the Bible, and you're telling your favorite Jesus story, and it's beautiful. And then the moon rises, and what does she do? She doesn't turn you into a lunatic that runs downtown and rapes the, or or steals or robs the local 7-Eleven and rapes the clerk. No, when she comes, when you're sitting around the campfire, she accents, she accents you, and she heightens your experience. That's what she is supposed to do. She is the rising tide. So, but you have to do the work. So if you're already there connecting to God, what does she do? She raises you higher to God. That's the beauty of the 2 weeks of the wax on versus the wax off, because that's the 2 weeks in which you can get higher and higher. That's why when they use the expression higher and higher, it's always done in twos, not threes, not one, not fives. It's always done in two. Ever notice that? Higher and higher, it's in twos, because that's the 2 weeks that the moon is waxed on, not waxed off. So when you don't do the work and you are a fallen man and you are living out of the lower bowl, which is the left-hand path, the Red Bull, drinking a Red Bull, then what does she do? She raises you lower and lower and lower to Goblin Town, and down, 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 down in Goblin Town you will go. And that's what she does. So it's up to you. It's up to you, not a blue chicken person with blue wings and free buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's you that has to do the work. You make her righteous. You make her work for you. You get her to be together. And so you see the brilliance and the beauty of this, again, is always the only way to get the mother is to kill the dragon. So why do you sit around a campfire? To slay the beast. And what do people like to sit and talk about around the campfire? Stories about great tales, right? Great tales of slaying the dragon and rescuing the princess. Because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing when you're around the campfire. When people sit with their family around the campfire, they don't sit there and go, hey, did you see that chick today? Oh my God, she was so hot. Oh, if her dress, if it could have gotten a little shorter. They don't talk like that. They don't speak in those terms. Those thoughts are not present around the campfire because you're alighting the pineal. You're illuminating the light within you and projecting it out through the campfire. And I cannot stress that enough. So when it's the 2 weeks of the rising of the moon wax on, you need to be in front of the campfire. And then you control her in front of the campfire. Does that not make perfect sense? I mean, just think about that, right? That's perfect sense. And that's the Bible. That's the parable. You have to be in the high bowl of Jesus Christ. Talk to your children about your favorite Jesus adventures and favorite Jesus quotes and favorite Jesus parables, because that's the blue bowl, the high bowl, and that is the bird brain. So we're they turn it upside down. We're supposed to be bird brains. And that's what Marie's coming to. And Justin and I, we know a little bit more than the rest of you, but we can see, everything about Marie right now is building the tree. She's rising. The birds are nesting there, like the hummingbird, so Marie is a bird brain. She is.
Here I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bird brain. I'm the hummingbird.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I love Latinosis. Wow, the moons. We're already booking our next trip up there in April for a whole week. The kids are off. I can't wait. I'm going to tell them all the Jesus stories I can. It's good.
It's beautiful.
Where are we going now? Here we go.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's that about the last thing I wanted to touch on in 13 was at the end of the last section, so 53 through 58-ish, it seems like Jesus receives some criticism once again, and he's asked, is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brother brethren James, Joseph and Simon and Judas, and his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all of these things? So they're essentially saying, like, who is this guy and why is he speaking all this stuff? Like, who does he know and what gives him the right to do that? And I think it's important to realize, because oftentimes our families and friends of old will often criticize us, or people will recognize where we come from and point out that there's no way that we could be speaking this kind of truth. There's no way that we could be stepping out in this sort of way. That we're always like pushed back down. But just as a reminder to stay firm and realize that you're receiving from God, and you'll never be led astray, and will have these kind of challenges come up, to put us back down and to lower our vibration that sort of way. So that's what I got out of that sort of passage.
I had that underlined too, just how offensive the truth is to people who don't want to hear it. I love that word. They're offended. Like, who is he? Isn't he just like that guy's son? Like, who is he to be this smarty pants guy that knows stuff and speaking so authoritatively? Like, the thing that I love about Jesus is his just leadership is always just spot on. He doesn't, like, there's no doubt whatsoever. He's like, this is the way it is, boom, boom, boom. And that's the work. I mean, I think that's what we're getting to. I think I'm learning how to trust myself more and more, for sure, but letting go of everything I thought was real about God too, and relearning is a privilege. And it's not something to be offended by. I think that's what, oh, who are you to know so much? It's like, ooh, you know so many things. Hey,
Right.
can we be friends? What do you have to say? Yeah, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. And he did not many works there because of their unbelief. So he kind of sounds like he just ditched out. It's like, I love that they use mighty throughout, because I really love that word for our mighty companions too. But he kind of seems like he expected that. He kind of knew
Yeah.
that was going to happen.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else before we go to 14, Charlie, on that?
Well, yeah. Can you hear us okay?
Hmm. We can.
Okay. So yeah, so Justin is quite right to highlight, Marie, as well, that last section. It's so very, very important. So after he's gone through this beautiful collection of allegories to show you that it's the Hermetic principle, that everything above you is within you, and that everything outside of you is within you, and that everything from the far heavens above are right near within you, that everything is united and connected to one another. That's what Jesus is showing, and that you choose the role that you play in all of this. And while Marie was reading and talking about that passage, and talking about this fantastic using the word offended, like Colleen is saying, what is offended? It's off-ended. So you're not on. You've fallen off the on. And being on is the pineal gland. So that is the bird brain. And when you fall off the bird brain, you become offended. And you're the Red Bull. Anyone who is offended is a Red Bull. And we don't have time for Red Bulls anymore. We don't. You've had a Red Bull? I like a Red Bull. I like a Red Bull. Red Bull. Red Bull. You have to be the blue bull, and that has to be, as Justin said, on 24/7, 365. So, Charlie, when are my 3 days for the Chrism oil? I don't know. Don't care. I used to, when I thought that you could cheat the way and be super, super, super good for 3 days. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So you have to be all in with this, or not. But again, the rewards are built into the work that you do or don't do, to the food that you do or don't eat, to the thoughts that you do or don't take, to the breaths that you do or don't take. It's up to you. It's all based on you. So listen to what is being said here. Now remember, in the original Greek text, it does not say carpenter. I did this on a show about 6 weeks earlier. Tecton. Tecton is the word, not carpenter. Tecton is a builder. That is a builder, not of the hands of man, but of the thoughts of God. So the builder, Hiram Abiff, who built Solomon's temple? Hiram Abiff. That is a parable. That is an allegory. There was nobody by the name of Hiram Abiff. What does Hiram Abiff mean? It's the high ram above. Who is the high ram above? The best example, the best man is Jesus Christ. But it's
Well, we might have lost him there. So yeah, carpenter means tecton. That was the initial reference to it. And so, and then they obfuscate it, bringing it to carpenter because it makes it a lot more literal and less of that allegorical sense of the builder of this reality. We are the projectors. We are the co-creators of this plane. And when we step into our divinity, when we recognize who we are as children of God, then truly all of these magical things we're capable of doing.
And just real quick too, just one more thing, that's the mission, is that like when someone says, who are you? It's like that quote from somewhere, who are you not to be? You know, hi guys, you are. You are. And Christ knew that about himself. And that's the journey home too, is to know that about yourself, that you are that. Like you have, who are you? Is like when someone asks you that, it's like, well, who am I not to be? You know, I'm a child of God.
Yeah, beautiful. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to complete that thought because it's very, very important. So once again, tecton, not carpenter in the Greek manuscript, was tecton. Tecton is a builder without hands, without the tools of man. It's a builder in silence. Okay, so that's what a tecton is. And it's interesting that the very earth that we live on, this ball, has tectonic plates. Because we create our reality, right? It's in plain sight. Tectonic plates. We create our reality by the thoughts we do or don't take, and the work that we do or don't do. It's in plain sight. So Jesus was not a carpenter. Jesus was a tecton. And a tecton is a builder in silence. So that would be Hiram Abiff, who's the builder of Solomon's temple and is worshipped by the Freemasons. Hiram Abiff. They've got images of Hiram Abiff within the temple. So Hiram Abiff is an allegory for Hiram, the perfect Lamb of God, Hiram above, which is Jesus Christ. Okay, or any man who's done the work. So what is Jesus saying here? Is that there's a family you're born with, and then there's a family you come to live with. And that's everything. That's everything, because this is free will. Your family is there to play a role for you. And that's why Jesus says so powerfully in the Bible, get out of your house at a young age. Leave thy father at a young age. Because he's not talking about thy father God. He's talking about the pair of rents that have confused you, perhaps not purposefully, but have confused you, that have set you on the wrong path and have taught you the wrong things. Possessions. Go to university, my son, because then you'll be rich and you'll be able to take care of us in the future. And it's just all backwards. There's lots of great parents out there, but they're not your real parents. So you leave your home at a young age so that you can wander, so that you can go, this sucks, and I have to go find my real home. And then on the way back, you bump into Matthew, and then you bump into Mark, and you bump into John the Baptist, and you bump into Justin, and you bump into Marie and Danny and Kyra and Siobhan and Ichabod and Aaron, and you bump into everyone along the way. And that's the family you come to live with. So again, what is being said here? Very importantly, please listen. And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all these things? And they were offended in him. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country, in his own house. And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief. And that is the way of it, that your own family will be the last to be there to exalt you with honor for the work that you've done. You're a kook. You've abandoned us. You've risked honor. You've risked the reputation of our family by supporting this lunatic Donald Trump with his orange hair, and you besmirch the good name of this family. And again, all of that is an allegory for the real house, which is your head, and what's happening inside of you, and that is the ego. Your ego will never give you an ounce of credit. And this is why the parable of not caring what other people think or not needing to have praise from others out there, the reason, because you're never going to get praise from you inside of you, because the you inside of you that's thinking is the ego, and it will never praise you, because if it does, it's done. The only praise, and that's why Jesus is saying this, that everyone out there will be offended by what you're doing, because they're of the lower bull, they're of the left path, the red path, and they have fallen, and they will only see you as a challenge to their authority. They will only see you as someone challenging their inequity, and they'll hate you for it. So then that's why you leave the house on this journey, and then you meet Justin, and you meet Marie, Ichabod, and you meet Kyra, and you meet everyone along the way, and that's your family, because you're meeting them through trusting in God. And the friends that you met when you were in your friends, and Colleen has this, the hard way as well during the past, few years. This year, 2020 in particular, all the remaining so-called friends of many years past have just abandoned her along the way and left her on an island out there. And so that's why we go to the island inn here, following the fountain of youth, and it doesn't matter. So it's the parables 53 ultimate teaching in this chapter. It is a brilliant way to end the book. Is the ultimate parable of all. You go to God for judgment, and he will not judge you, he will just love you. And everyone else who you go to looking for love, they have no love, they'll just judge you. You see the difference? It's completely upside down. The out there world is upside down.
Wow, that's a good one. Well said. I love that. I love that. It's true. If we're looking for it externally, we'll just be met with that same sort of failure, essentially, that rejection or judgment, or however we, like, if we're building our reality on something outside of ourselves, then it will always be it will not be a firm foundation whatsoever. We have to build it on a rock, build it with God, build it inside. Yeah. Cool. You ready to move to 14?
You bet, everyone. And remember that what's the first line in 14:1? What is the first line? At that time, Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Jesus. Tetra's a rock. So Herod, remember what I said to you? Always in every single chapter in the New Testament, the first three lines, or the first three verses, are always like perfect parables. And so there you go. So now we're going to get into Herod. and the wickedness of Herod, who's a rock, who's the red earth, who is rooted in his uncles in Egypt, and is not able to fly above and become the bird brain. So again, just know that as we go into 14, it starts by saying the enemy of Jesus are all those who have become rocks entrenched in the bedrock of the earth and cannot rise. So Herod will not hear Jesus and will not tolerate Jesus.
Yeah, and it goes forward. I mean, just to summarize the next little section, essentially, yeah, Herod beheads or decapitates John the Baptist and kills him, and then while he's in prison, and Jesus gets word of that. So I was curious, given that John the Baptist is sort of representative of our lower five physical chakras, would this beheading, this killing of John the Baptist, would this be allegorical for letting go of that physical and stepping into the sixth? I was curious on that one, Charlie. Or what's the significance here with this
Yeah,
death?
yeah, absolutely. Again, John, like Jesus said, you will not find one better or more important to this physical world than John. But the least of those in the kingdom of heaven are far more advanced and far more righteous than John, because John. And that's why that John is not a real person, because John is very one-dimensional in his behavior, in the way that John reacts or responds to everything. He has one response to everything because John is playing a role, and so this is the beheading of the physical body, so that we can become free of what is holding us down by our uncles, and then to fly free, fly high in the sky. So this is the coming of the eagle, and that's exactly why. And that's why John was written as a very static character who responded, and his followers, which are representations of John, were always responding the same way as well. Always. So, yeah, that's why.
Okay, great. Did you have anything on that, Marie, or ready to move on?
Just
Okay.
the same story, this like weird sex stuff, that she's like, he's dancing. It's just like the same, just gross story that we keep finding ourselves in with these
Yeah.
rulers. And it's, yeah, I read it again last night and just kind of like annoyed that, but here we are. I mean, this is Herod. It's just in plain sight. I guess I'm just getting to a place where it's like, when is there going to be a more righteous way of moving from the heart? I mean, if he wasn't a rock, and if he wasn't, this just corrupted person, he would have had a heart, but I guess that's not a part that it wouldn't serve the story if he had been like, oh no, let's not do that to John the Baptist. But that's
Yeah,
what I have.
exactly right, Marie. Exactly right.
Yeah. And then it goes on. I think the next little part that so this is the next section where Jesus feeds the many with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. And
But remember, it starts, and this is so key, so that because everything, the good work that you just did, Justin, gets shown as absolutely being the truth. So how the way that you decoded what was really being said of John, that is then proven in 413, which is 27, which is the triple nine, which is the three nines, which is the highest divinity, and the reverse of 27 is 72, which is the divinity of the 3 days, the 3 day fast, or the 3 days in the tomb. So 413 is very important. This hour of the first 12 verses was the first thing Jesus does. That proves when Jesus heard of it, he departed by ship. How the hell do you take a ship into the desert?
No,
So it's an allegory,
no.
right? And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's. I was just gonna say it's a little hard to hear you, but I think it's getting better. But I'll just read that.
Oh,
I'll read
okay.
that first. I'll read that first verse just to get everyone. So 14:13. When Jesus heard of it, he departed thence by ship into a desert place apart. And when the people had heard thereof, they followed him on foot out of the cities. So what I caught from Charlie just now is that the we know that this is an allegorical representation because you don't take a ship into a desert. So clearly this is talking about something else. So that's just a
And
key to tune into.
okay, yeah, and if we can hear me just long enough, I
Yeah.
hope that we can get this through. Is that that's see, this is proving what Justin said about the allegory of the beheading of John the Baptist. Because what's the first thing that Jesus did after this story is completed of John? He went into the desert. So the that's above the blood-brain barrier. That's the head has been cut off, so he has no other choice but to sail a ship into the desert. So the desert is your mind because your pineal gland is not activated. So you're walking into the desert to activate the pineal gland. And then this is where all the miracles start coming because what did Jesus do? He walked into the desert of the pineal gland. So John has been beheaded, he's out of the body, he's into the realm, the magic kingdom of the mind, and now all of this magic will soon occur where all of these people are fed by 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Miracle, miracle, miracle when you go into the desert to activate the pineal gland. So I was just wanted to say, well done, Justin, and that's your proof of what you're saying is true, is 14:13, and that's very important passage.
Hmm. Yeah, it's good to know. So when we leave the physical body, and then we can, but we have to do that first, and that's where the importance of the beheading of John the Baptist. I mean, that's what that represents is leaving those physical five so that we can sail in by ship into the desert. We have to do that first.
Yeah.
Um, and then it kind of continues, as Charlie mentioned about the feeding of the multitudes with the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. And again, this isn't literal. He's not feeding people bread and fish. He's not feeding them animals. This is the loaves or bread is manna, and so that would be sort of the breath of God, the word of God, and then fish as well is wisdom. So fish is that receiving that wisdom. So it's just another way to kind of portray that. It's not literal.
That's right. So the manna from heaven, it would be the sheep, right? So this is when you take thought from God, you're counting sheep. So he was really got a real barbecue going. He had a real barbecue going with sheep and fish. No, no. The sheep are the is what is the manna is the true manna from heaven is God's pure thought, which is allegorically represented by the sheep, little Bo Peep, and you count the sheep. It's beautiful, and then fish are wisdom because Pisces is right before Aries, and everything is about Aries, which is a man arising. So this is the significance of the 2 fish. This is Aries. So once again, we see in plain sight that every aspect of the Bible is referencing the Hermetic principle, as above, so below, as within, so without, as universe, so with the soul. So this is why when you get to 14:13, you need to be looking as well at these numbers because these are geniuses that put all of this together. There's always the most important passages at these key numbers that are at play here. So yeah, the
Yeah.
miracle by going within.
Hmm. And the five loaves and the two fishes, Aaron saying in the chat, that could be representing the five in-body chakras and the two in-head chakras, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's precisely what it is. And then the two fish are the two higher chakras, which trump which trump the five loaves. And we know this because of the petals, like, and Aaron was pointing that out on Miraculous Monday with his beautiful images of magnetism. And you're looking at how magnetism works. Oh my gosh, there's a lotus. There's a purple lotus flower in magnetism. Oh, it's the way. And so, what do we know about the petal, the 144 petal lotus within us? That when you get to the throat, you've only collected 48 petals. But when you cross over, when you experience crucifixion, when you cross over from the lower to the higher, from the red bull to the blue bull to the bird brain, what's the first thing that happens when you get to the sixth chakra? It doubles the first 48 petals. That's 96. 96 and 48 is 144. And then telepathy, which is your seventh sense, does what? It takes your 144 petals, which is your essence, and charges it 1,000-fold to create the purple crown with purple rain, Michael Jackson on one side and Prince on the other, and Lady Diana in the middle, Venus. And there you are with the purple rain and the purple crown, and that's the 144,000, which is not a physical limiting number. Sorry, 144 were faster than you. Sit down and be quiet and wait. Wait till one of them dies. Wait till one of them dies and then you get to go in. No, 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 no. It's a frequency. It's a frequency. 1 plus 4 plus 4 is 9, which is divine. And you have to rise, Aries. And so wisdom in Pisces, because it's the closest thing to Aries, which is you, which is what you must become, the man perpetually arising. Because what does Marie always say? You can't do this 1 year. You can't do this 1 day. Colleen teaches us better than anyone. Tomorrow, you wake up and the ego is back again. And it starts all over again. And that's why the answer is only casting thy net to the right. Go ahead,
That's
Angel.
a great Siobhanism because she said the ego gets up with you. That was a Siobhan.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
ahead, Marie.
I've been feeling that too. It's like, oh, I was so high yesterday, and then I wake up, I'm so low. It's like it's that journey every day that we have to go through the chakras and get up, move our energy out of survival and out of the density. And it's a journey every day. And I love to look at this from that perspective. It's really mind blowing. You know, the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. I was always raised to believe that was very literal. So to look at it from a shot like the chakra and energetic systems is really kind of exciting and expansive. I love that.
Yeah, truly. I mean,
And that's what fed them, you know, like that's that shock deactivation. Like you got activated, you got awakened. So he fed them what they needed, not what their belly needed, but what their essence and their soul needed.
yeah, and at the end, what they had remained were 12 baskets full, and that's representing our 12 cranial nerves that are full with Jesus as you, the child of God, in the middle, as the 13th cranial nerve activated. It's
Awesome.
beautiful.
Next level. Huge. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking with Joel last night in a one-on-one, and he brought up a beautiful point about how our ego, like it's designed to grow with us, and that when we get up into higher levels of gnosis and wisdom, like you're saying, you have to wake up and accept that challenge every single day. Well, we agreed to have an adversary that grew with us. We wanted that challenge to face every single day. It would have been too boring, too easy if it was just something that's like, oh well, I defeated that years ago. I never have to worry about it again. But no, it actually gets more powerful as we do as well. So it's really important to remember as we go on this journey, like it never ends, and it's more fun that way. It's a lot more fun that way.
For yourself. I mean, I feel you, but yeah, I mean, I'm ready for like, let's just play and like, can't that guy just go to sleep forever? But
Yeah,
no, I feel you. And it is good. It's good. It's good for us. It keeps us exercising. It keeps us, fit. It keeps us awake. It keeps us active. Keeps us, keeping our eyes open.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, and guys, if you can hear me okay, we went
We
away
can.
and we came back. So we keep resurrecting. That's cool. Um, and so these middle passages here are just so important, and they're just giving you so many clues. It's just so numerical, right now. So in 19, and he commanded the multitude to sit down upon on the grass, which is an allegory for the middle way, right? So that is the heart chakra. Because if you want to get to the 6 and 7, you have to go there through the heart chakra. So you have to illuminate the heart to get to the hearth. You have to illuminate the earth to get to the hearth, and you illuminate the earth by breathing God, H. So what is earth? If you add an H to earth, it's hearth. And that's where you put your pine cones on the mantle, above the fire, and then the pine cone explodes from within, and then the seeds of righteousness, are born again, are resurrected again, because they're inside the pine cone. So brilliant. But listen to all these numbers, okay? So and he took 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, folks, bless your food. But Charlie, you say fruits and vegetables, but they're all sprayed with. That's okay. That's okay. Guess what? DDT and everything that comes from Monsanto is the lower bull. It has no power here. It has no power here. Do a blessing to God through the wisdom of Jesus, and you watch DDT disappear off of your fruit in an instant. And if that's not enough for you, soak it in water with that is stirred and mixed well with sodium bicarbonate, or activated charcoal, and it'll take all the DDT out of it as well. So you see, you hold the power. They do all of these things, yes, because they're convinced you won't do the work. What's doing the work? Blessing your food. But who's got time for that? You don't know. There's no time to do anything else. That's the only time there is to bless your food, is to bless your children, is to bless your thoughts, is to bless everyone in the world. It's just bestow blessings throughout the day and count the flowers of your petaled lotus grow and grow and grow. You have nothing but time to bless. So you want to heal your food? Bless your food. It is a power that God gave you, and you deny it. So when they come running to the gates of heaven, is Jesus, Jesus, let me in. And Jesus says, depart from me, for I never knew you. Depart from me, for I never knew you. You never want. But Jesus, I raise so much money in your name, and look at these fine clothes that I wear in honor of you, Jesus. I look at all the good works that I've taken unto the thou name. Look at me, Jesus. I am a righteous. Depart from me, for I never knew you. You can't say that you're a Christian. You have to be a Christian. Love is not a noun, it's a verb. So listen to this. And they did eat and were filled. And they took up of the fragments that remain 12 baskets full. 12, which is completion. So they've completed this holy sacrament of the 5 loaves, which is conquering the 5 physical senses through the 2 higher senses, the 2 higher chakras, the 2 fish, wisdom, right next to God. And there were 12 baskets, and 1 + 2 is 3, which completes the Holy Trinity. That's how you do it. Okay, so you rise up with the bread and the fish, which is the divinity of God's thought. And then when they had eaten, were about 5,000 men. 5,000. So we don't count the zeros in gematria. So 5,000 is 5. And then in the metaphysical realm, when you have 1,000, it's the spirit form. So the spirit of the 5, which would then relate. This relates back to John the Baptist, who moments earlier, had his head cut off. 5,000 men. So the spirit of all of the disciples of John and John the Baptist and John, his disciples, besides women and children. And straightway, the narrow and straight way, Jesus constrained his disciples to get into his ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into the mountain apart to pray. Oh my Lord, this is just, this writing doesn't get any better. This is the most beautiful. It is just genius. It's just pure poetry. And so he got the disciples to go to the other side into a ship, which is the passage. But Jesus went up upon the mount apart, the part of Jesus, which is God, ahead, apart, to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone, all one with God. So he sent the annoying disciples away who want to walk on water but keep sinking. And he went to God alone, and there he became all one. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea and tossed with waves, of course, because Jesus wasn't there. So the perfect Lamb of God was not with them, and they began to take thought of themselves. So the sea became a tempest, and the ship was tossed with waves because they were thinking for themselves. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking upon the sea, because again they thought and they put themselves into a tizzy, high tiz, and then they were foundering upon the stormy seas. So in the fourth quarter, with time running out, Jesus comes to the rescue in the fourth quarter, walking on the maritime admiralty laws. Because you see, when you think,
That's probably what Trump will do.
That's right. Because when you think of your left brain, it's filled with shit that they put there. And that is the maritime admiralty laws. So Jesus walks upon the maritime admiralty law seas on the fourth night with time running out. And they cried out for fear. But straightway, but straight and narrow way, Jesus spoke unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And so when Marie wakes up in the morning after being high the night before and feels low in the morning again, remember, it's Jesus who woke you inside. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of this day, for it is I who woke you. And I shall lead you to God again upon this day. Never be afraid, my friends. Never be afraid, because Jesus is within you. God is within you. Mary, Mother, is within you. And Santa Claus is there as well. That's pretty cool. Who's God's best friend, because they live next to each other. So, yeah. But you see how brilliant this is? And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto the water. And Jesus said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go see Jesus. Now what does it say? He walked on the water. So he's walking on the water. But when he saw, oh, Peter, why did you have to open your eyes? But when he saw the wind boisterous, and he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me! And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore did thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. And when they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth thou art the Son of God. And when they were gone over, they came unto the land of Gennesaret. And when the men of that place had knowledge of him, they sent out into all of that country round about, and brought unto him all that was diseased, and besought him that they might only touch the hem of his garment. And as the many as touched were made perfectly whole. Oh my God, Oh my God. Like, that's why I say read it and read it and read it again and read it again. Read it again until these words spring out to you and lift you off of your ankles and up into the air, because this is pure poetry, but it's pure truth. And it is the highest of highs, is the holiest of holies. This is hallowed grounds. These writings are hallowed grounds. And look at what that last passage is. It's 36. It's verse 36. And he besought them that they might only touch the hem of his garment. And as many as touched were made perfectly whole. Oh, 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, and 9. And all we have to do is touch the hem, which is the lowest part of he who has risen. So John the Baptist, there wasn't a better one. We started with John, let's finish with John. There wasn't a better one of the physical realm, but the least of those in heaven were greater than John, because they touched the hem of his garment and rose. And John was a static character who just beautifully, selflessly gave and gave and gave and gave the truth, but was not whole. And he had to become separated of his head, because John was not whole, because he was one dimensional. You have to become 360 dimensional. And that is to rise, my children. This passage is beautiful. This book is, when people tell you that the Bible, just read them this. Get them to read this and read it again. It's perfection on earth. The people who wrote this knew this truth. And all that these demons can do is tell you that this book is stupid or evil, or try to teach you it in the wrong way. It's not. This book is perfect. And that's why The Lord of the Rings is perfect in its own way, because J.R. Tolkien wrote it as a tribute to the Bible.
I'm super
Wow.
moved. I think you're shouting. That was amazing.
Truly. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Jeez. Look, I got all the tears. The tears of the Holy Spirit. There they come.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. That was very well said. We've yeah, I don't have much.
And your tears, Marie, are the tears of John the Baptist, right? So that's the bestowing, that's the spirit of John, who is beautiful, and that is John bestowing you, because you see the wisdom of these words. You've been gifted the Holy Spirit in this moment, Marie, and you are aglow once again. Colleen said this morning that Marie for sure is a Tartarian. She did. She said that. She said Marie for sure is a Tartarian. Justin, no. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Maybe
She said
next time.
she said that 3 days earlier. Justin's a Tartarian. But yeah, she said this morning that Marie's a Tartarian. And in this moment, Marie, what you're watching, it's so beautiful, because you're seeing Marie truly bestowed with the Spirit of God. This is just the miracle of reading this book and touching the hem of his garment. And again, you hear it in Justin's voice. You see it in his eyes. It exudes from him. And this is what we're all seeing with Marie as well. There's no accident that these things happen. And so when Charlie Freak became a lunatic and went off his hinges and began attacking, he did so that those who were worthy to hear the call would hear the call and would rise above, like a cork that always rises to the surface, like the cream that always rises to the top. And this is what's happened. Since Colleen and I did this little well-calculated plan, the cream has risen to the surface. And look in our chat room, you just see nothing but cream and corks and beauty and lotus flowers and petals, and it's brilliant. It's all brilliant because you're all filling yourselves with the light of God, and that is the Spirit of God. And you have had a miracle. Marie just had a miracle. And this is what happens when you read the Bible.
Yeah. And you have true friends that can hold the space for you to really transform, like to really get to the, like, wow, John the Baptist. I was really feeling him, her, it, that. allegory with, yeah, I'm super moved. Thanks, guys. Ooh, I'm breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't have anything else to say on that. That was perfect. That was beautiful.
Guys are such a gift. Thanks for, holding the line. I was thinking about that Charlie Ward thing the other day. It's like, that was a good move on their part. It was a good move. And everybody else might have hundreds of thousands of people watching their videos. And, it might, but this stayed true and clean and pure. And it just, it's so milk and honey in this vibe. It's beautiful. Are we doing 15 or
Yeah,
what
let's
do you
jump into
guys think?
15. Let's jump into
Okay, keep going.
15.
Do you just see how we just keep going and going and going? The Energizer Bunny just going so much.
Yeah, so 15 beginning, at one point Jesus talks of for God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of God of none effect by your tradition. So he's being criticized again by the Pharisees for not honoring their literal interpretation of this biblical commandment, and taking it, using their legalese against them, and he's saying, no, this is not about like our physical father and mother, where we should honor them as our fellow men, man and woman, honor them in that sense. But true honor comes to God. I mean, that's our father above and our mother below. That's our true parents. That's our true mother and father, and that's who we need to honor. That's what the whole purpose of that commandment is, not to just do whatever your mother and father in this earthly plane say, regardless of what they tell you to do, because a lot of times they can be distorted and tell you, lead you astray and judge you in different ways. Not saying that's always the case, but they're imperfect in that sort of sense. But we honor our father above and our mother below, because they are our true parents. They're our true essence. So Jesus is just, again, drawing on this obfuscation that they like to put forward, and then he calls them hypocrites, which is always great. I always love when Jesus calls people hypocrites, because they're just a bunch of hypocrites.
Depart from me, I do not know you. And every time, I hear this passage or passages like this, it always takes me back to Genesis, and again the story of Abraham and Sarah, and the borning of the miracle, which is Isaac, which is Itzhak, which is happiness. And so then there's that very famous passage where God commands Abraham to take baby Isaac up to the mount and place him upon the altar, and then to take the stone that has been left there for Abraham, and to then bash the skull of this miracle gift of happiness, and destroy it. And then Abraham takes up the stone and he raises it above him. He's in great duress, but he's still prepared to do it. And this is a perfect allegory. And this is also, by the way, Peter Gabriel's song, which is Milgram's 37, which is referencing Professor Milgram and the 37 respondents of the test that he did with that electrical shock therapy, where they didn't realize that it was not real. But from one side of so people were paid to come to the university campus and take part in an experiment. And so all they had to do was sit on one side of a barricade. On the other side was a person they could see through glass, but they couldn't really hear. They couldn't contact them, but they could see them. And he was just basically saying that I'm going to ask you to move this lever, and every time you move it higher, you're increasing the electrical charge. So you see the person on the other side has all of these electrical nodes that are connected to them. And so it's just an experiment. Nobody's in danger. So if you wouldn't mind, so just please go ahead. And I just want to observe what's happening to our test patient if you could do this. And so 37 of these respondents kept going, and the person on the other side, who was an actor, continued to show more and more distress and pain, and to the point where the person was screaming. And then there was a line on this meter where he was turning the knob, and it basically said, "Don't go past this point." And Milgram is saying, "Now turn it to 15, or go to maximum on the dial." And it says right on the dial, "Do not go past this point." 37 of them went past that point. 37 of them went past that point. Now, there was no electricity
because
attached.
they were following orders.
Because they were following orders. And again, this is the world out there. And this is why all of these parables. So once again, Justin is saying, the allegory is not that give the glory to your pair of wrens. Look at what Abraham was prepared to do. That's the allegory of Abraham upon the mount with Isaac, is to show that even Abraham, who did all of these things, was prepared.
I was like right on the edge.
Absolutely have said, dear Father, I am a child of love, and I shall not obey this command. And then God would have hugged you. I mean, it never would have happened. It never would have happened. God would never, ever, ever have put any one of us into that situation. But it's there to show you and to prove to you. And that's what Justin is rightly decoding from this passage. So I'll pass it back to you guys.
Well, it continues, and Maria, I think you wanted to talk about this, but so Jesus essentially he declares, "Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah's prophecy of you, saying, This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching me for doctrines and the commandments of men." So just touching on, like, if we're relying on these dead words on a page, even if it's written in the Bible, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. If you're not if you're not seeing them for what they are, and you don't have your connection with God to validate them, then that's all they are, is just dead words on a page. And so you can honoreth God with your lips, but if your heart is far from me, if you're not going within to actually integrate and see the truth of this, then you're not doing it. It's not about vain worship. It's about implementing him. It's about being.
I just want to make sure I got that last bit that Charlie was talking about with Abraham and Isaac, because I don't know if it was just my internet that cut out or what happened, but basically it was the willingness to sacrifice your happiness and then not having to in the end. Is that it kind of cut out for me, and it was like I was right on the edge of like, what is he saying?
So no. People often see that parable in that way, that are you prepared to do anything for God? Well, that can't be the message. That can't be the message, because God would not put any one of us into that situation. So God is love, God knows, and especially in the circumstance of Abram and Sarai becoming Abraham and Sarah, and then the miracle at 93 years of age, and her womb as barren as a dry desert, and then comes this perfection of life, which is little baby Isaac, which is pure happiness and therefore joy. After all of that, God would never then say, "Yeah, now go bash its head in and show me that you love me." that cannot be the message, because God would never, ever, ever operate that way. What it's showing you is to exalt God, not these players in the story. Okay, so these are people that are playing roles. And again, the Bible is insert your name here. So you are. Remember, deny the ego and exalt the Father, the true Father, which is God. And that's what the message is here. So the message is that out of the New Testament or Genesis of the Bible, is that it's not that we turn Jacob and Abraham into rock stars. We remember that like all men, we were in a fallen form, and that we have to go on this journey, and we have to rise to the one who is perfection, which is the Father. So again, that passage with regard to Abraham and Isaac in the Bible is to show us, do not exalt that which is of the physical. So the man who is apparently now gifted with the Holy Land and all of that. No, the glory is to God. The glory is to the Father. Remember who your true parents are. In other words, remember who your true parents are, because Abraham was ready, willing, and able to take a rock and to do that. And I just know myself, I would not do that. I would not. Once I found out what was being done, I would not have participated further in it, and nor would you, and nor would Justin. So that's the allegory of it, and it's very important. And then you see it ties into here, which is once again, as soon as, so remember, in the brilliance of chapter 15 is after the miracle of Jesus in chapter 14, then by the Pharisees of the church, right? Because they have Jesus giving the truth, the lies, and they must attack. And that's what you're seeing here. And so this is what Jesus is once again saying here, is that the works of the hand got you into this mess in the first place, and they will only lead you into more mess, and that it is only of thy Father, thy one true Father, that you will find your way out.
It's so choppy. It went, did it go that way for you too, Justin, or is it just my internet?
Yeah, no, it's choppy for me as well.
Okay. Well, let's pick up when when he comes back on, because he's really on a roll today. I mean, he always is, but yeah, just from that last bit that you said, it's that similar. It's just what we see that we honor. When our heart's not in it, and I think that that's really what these times are about, is to get our hearts to sit on the grass, like to move from that space, because God can tell the difference.
Yeah, and that's why it's so vital to truly gain that clarity so that we know God. And that way, if we're ever getting these sort of pings or pulls from something, and you're met with some obstacle where it's like, okay, you've got to bash in your child's skull, like you would be like, no, that's not God. There's no way that's coming from God, no matter how it looks or what it looks like. That's not God. That's not my Father. My Father would never do that. So just that knowing and truly integrating that will really give you that clarity to see when each of those opportunities come up.
And it's like Herod earlier in 14 too. Like his heart was like hard as a rock. He didn't know what was right to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. My sense is that people know, though. There's got to be like, can you really shut out God completely? I don't know. Isn't there always that, like, no, I shouldn't bash my kid's head in? Like, isn't there, no, I shouldn't, do this to it? It's like, but maybe we do get so hard as rocks that that the love within us is gone. I don't know. That would be something for Charlie to jump in on. Or Justin, what do you have on that?
Well, I mean, there is always that connection. We can't ever get away from it, but that is the goal of that left-hand path of that descension. It's there's only two directions. You're either ascending or you're descending. And if you're descending, you're getting further away from God and you're losing and losing more of that connection. You're losing that clarity, that ability to feel it, or you can rise up to meet it. So it's just a spectrum. I think everyone's still attached. I mean, we're all one consciousness, so everyone's still attached to it to some degree or another, but it gets very, very finite, very, very slim and next to nothing after a certain point. And that's what allows that way of being to consume you and drive you to whatever actions, to whatever ends. I mean, that is Satanism in a nutshell, is just to pursue your own will to whatever ends against, it doesn't matter what your obstacle is. It doesn't matter what beings you have to hurt. You're gonna do it regardless, and that doesn't matter.
Some of us though just can't do it. Like I always, as a kid, I just remember things like, why are people like, this is wrong? It's just wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we all know. We all come in knowing everything, like we know it all. But we have to remember. We chose to forget, and we have to remember.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Okay. So
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
you go for it.
Okay. So I had someone use the next passage from 15:10 and 11, and kind of after that point to criticize me for being concerned of what I'm consuming and what I'm eating. So 15:10, and he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth the man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth the man. Then came his disciples and said unto him, knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind, and the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Then answered Peter and said unto him, declare unto us this parable. And Jesus said, are ye also yet without understanding? Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile a man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashen hands defileth not a man. So it's I so I had someone compare this to and say that we don't have to worry about what we eat, we don't have to worry about what we consume, because it's not that part of it that we have to worry. Clearly it's only what comes out of our mouth that we have to worry about. And this is drawing on an important distinction that I would say it's easier to correct what you're consuming, as opposed to if you're so consumed by this dark spirit that you're only letting things spew out of your mouth in this hatred and the sort of left path that is going to defile your soul much quicker. But it doesn't take away from the importance of doing the initial work and laying the foundation so you can have this clarity, so you even know what the difference is between what you say and do that defileth you. So yeah, that was kind of my take on that one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. I mean, again, it's what's the best way that I could respond to the person that they'll be offended by me saying this, of course, but what is the best way to respond to the person who responded to you with that? And what I would say is that this is the blind leading the blind, and they will both surely end up in the ditch. I'm sorry if that offends you, but it is the truth. It's that this is why the Bible is a lifelong journey to read and to know, and that you need to read these things again. And Christians are so good at cherry picking a particular verse out and then using it to what they believe and what they use as absolute proof that what they believe is the truth and the light and the way. And you cannot read the Bible that way. It's the same thing with when are my threes? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you broke up a little bit, but you're back clear, I think.
Okay. So it's the same thing when people ask, what are my 3 days for the chrism oil? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to do the work, and this is an on-off thing. So not that which goeth into the mouth defieth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth. And so then came his disciples and said, knowest that the Pharisees were offended after hearing this saying? And he answered and said, every other hath not ended.
We're losing you, Charlie.
Yeah, it's not happening.
So, okay.
It's such a bummer.
If I'm able, if I'm able to sneak this in, it would be this is very important parable about Ouroboros. What you is what you get out.
What you put in is what you
Did you
put,
hear
what you
that okay?
What you
what
put
you
in is
put.
what you put out. Yeah.
I think so.
What you put in is what you get out.
It's
Yeah.
100% true. It's 100%
So if
vibrations.
yeah,
And I just noticed it in myself
if
too.
it's from
Like,
God, go ahead.
I really want to hear what you have to say. So, but I'm just trying to articulate what I hear you saying, which is that what you put in is what you put out. And basically when I noticed it just within myself, just the vibrations of food, and I think what happens is that so many of us don't want to feel. And so we put all this stuff in our tummies, and our tummies are centers of feeling. So now that you're feeling everything and you're feeling so alive, that's what gets to come out when you're on the raw foods and juicing and having the fruits of the earth. It's a very different vibration than, having a coffee and a croissant in the morning. And I just know it from myself. Like, wow, is my energy different? Wow, am I more anxious or sharp, or there's a violence that happens because it's not proper for a child of God. It's not worthy. That food is not worthy for us. And so I think he's saying that essentially, like, it's not so much what you put in, it's what comes out, but it is about what you put in, because what you put in depends upon what you get out.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. I love how he goes on here. I just, the blind be the blind, and they're both in the ditch. And then Peter said to him, declare us this parable. And Jesus said, are you also yet without understanding? Do you not yet understand
Yeah.
that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly and is cast out in the drought? Yeah, but those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceedeth evil thoughts, murderers, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. So good. So good. Thanks, friends. We can keep going.
Hey guys, are you able to hear in this moment?
No,
So it's such a bummer.
no, unfortunately not.
So,
Hold that thought. Let's give it a minute. Let's move on, and then we'll come back. Yeah, hold that thought. I feel like he's got something real good.
You go ahead, Marie.
What else do we have for chapter 15? Let me look at my notes. mean, there's just so much here. 15.
Yeah, so he goes out and he feeds another multitude of people.
Oh, this
And,
one with the dog and this was so good. I love this one. Go ahead.
well, yeah, I was skipping that part, so you go ahead.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
oh woman, how great is thy faith? So
Mhm.
I love this. Yeah, we have to go through this. I'm sorry, it's just too potent. I don't know if we're gonna get as far as we wanted to, Justin, but I'm sure we can finish 15.
Yeah, go for it.
Um, Okay, and then Jesus went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to the dogs. And she said, Truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. And Jesus departed from thence and came nigh unto the Sea of Galilee, went up to the mountains and sat down there. Wow, that to me is like, there's so much there to unpack. I'll give it my little brief understanding, and I'm sure you guys will expand on it. But growing up, I heard this so often. It was like a whole gospel that was read at a certain time of year. But what I love about reading it from this perspective is that I just saw Jesus it felt like he was testing her. Like he was just kind of, seeing, how far he could take her. And she went. And it really moved him, I feel, in the end, because he was like, wow, how great, you actually did it, you showed up. And he even insulted her and she didn't care. She was like, I don't care, I want what you've got, and I know you've got it. And it was so beautiful. And I just love that he pushed her. And I used to not like that growing up. I was like, he's not being very nice to her. Like, I thought he was, the God of compassion and all of this. But I can see from this place that that's what this is about. It's about really pushing and seeing what we're made of. That's what I took from that. And I just find it so beautiful that she says truth to him. True. And I still want what you got.
Am I able to jump in at this moment? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good now.
Wonderful, because this is so important. So this is the best example of what dog really, really means, okay? And so what is the mirror of dog? God. And so that when we are born into the household of our pair of rents, that we are dogs. This has been the allegory throughout the entire Bible, is that we are dogs because we are the prodigal sons, wayward, adrift on the sea, and we are godless, and we're journeying through hell on earth, which is our left brain, because that's all they teach. So we're dogs, and so like in the parable there, it's and that the dogs eat of the crumbs that fall from the master's table. So once again, this chapter of all chapters is talking not about the literalization of food. This is the best chapter to show that the Bible is, other than Genesis 1:29, is not talking about food per se. It is talking about the intake of manna from heaven. And so our poor children are growing up in families where they eat, and you need to recognize this within ourselves as well, myself as well, that our children were eating from the crumbs of our tables, which means the master's table, which means that if I'm not a master, then I'm a fraud. And if I'm a fraud, then what is falling as crumbs off of my table could very well be killing what I profess to love so very, very much. This is why we must take this so seriously. This is why we must not trust others, and this is why we must do the work ourselves. We must become the master, because if we're not, then we're relying on others to raise our children, to feed our children. You feed your children the wisdom of God and let them learn it for themselves so that their wisdom will guide them like a divine tuning, and they will find the answers. They will know they would tree go up to an animal with a steely knife and stab it and stab it and call it and scream out in pain. They would never do that, but they will walk up to a tree and they will pick the fruit. They will walk to a patch of carrots and they will pull a carrot, but they will not destroy an animal. And that is the wisdom. That is the wisdom of the children who are far more connected to the Father than we are, as they are most recently come of the Father and the Mother, which is that of the womb. So there's just no better example than this is why you have to get out of your father's house at a young age, and then you have to go find your real father. And you have to get out of your house, away from the born family, the family that you're born to, and find your real family. That's what this is all about. It's what it's all about. And that's why, as both of you so right, Jesus takes a lot on the chin here because of these chapters and these passages, because this is tough love, because it's the truth. It is. When dogs, you get up fleas. And the dogs that are filled with fleas are filled with fleas because the parents are charades, charlatans, who demand loyalty, who demand your obedience, but have done a thing to earn because they have no wisdom. And those are harsh words to say to some and harsh words to hear for some, but it's the truth nonetheless. It's our job. If we're going to take this role of being a parent, then we get darn seriously, and that is we have to know what is righteous and what isn't. And being an animal, not righteous at all. And we should not be feeding those crumbs to our dogs. So what did I say? Leave the home as dogs. They eventually will come. And what is the meat of dog is God. And that is the God within us. And this is why dogs are used so much. This is why Sirius is the dog star. Because we have to get serious about all of this. Because until we get serious, we are the dog star. When you get serious, cross below, right perfect alignment with the three kings above, then you're God. That's the mirror image. That's why they use so much in the Bible. It's us as the fallen children, victims to our families, and we have to get out of those houses, those homes, and we have to find our real family. And that's what you guys are doing. And I'm so proud of all of you for having the courage to do this. You're leaving what is comfortable and you're setting course for a heavenly destination. And you'll get there because everything in God wants you to get there. The rocks want you to get there. The wind wants you to get there. The waves want you to get there. Everything wants you to get to God, and they'll help you. Everything will help you, but you have to go on this journey. So I know that there are some harsh words for parents to hear, but it is the truth nonetheless. We demand obedience from our children. We offer them very little to nothing in return.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show how organized society is not just, it's a carefully constructed programming to where we have everyone enforcing it at the same time. We've got our agent Smiths popping out of the woodwork to always make sure that we stay within the matrix, and the agent Smith can take over anyone, our parents, our teachers, or whoever. Like they've all been conditioned to make sure that this system perpetuates and gets worse. So it's up to us to take that step out on the water, to walk on the water, and have that faith and recognize that there is nothing to fear stepping out alone, because alone is all one, and we're just going back to God, and that's the best place to be. Yeah.
Justin, I was just to interject to what you just said. That's why we can't get to that chasm without a bridge soon enough. We just can't. The sooner we come to that part of our story, the better off we are, because that's that leap of faith. And the only way that you will make the leap of faith, again, I was saying to you guys a few weeks earlier about that Batman movie series with Christopher Nolan, and in the third and the last Batman, where he's fallen in the second one, he's become them, and now he has to rise again. And so he's cast in, his back is broken, straight from the Bible, and he's cast into this dungeon, and only one ever got out before, and it is one who got out of pure love and pure service, pure love and pure service, and that's when he makes it. And the only way you can make that leap of faith is when you disconnect the rope, so there are no safeguards. You cannot have a safeguard and get to heaven. You have to be, as Justin says, all in. It's what's being said here. You have to be all in. If you have a safety harness, you will not make the leap. This is the leap of faith.
Yeah, well said. And so it continues, chapter 15, with another feeding of the multitudes, and just want to call out some key numbers here, and we can kind of decode these. But the multitude followed Jesus for 3 days, having nothing to eat, and so then he was given 7 loaves of bread this time, with a few fishes. So not even counting the fishes this time, but we're talking about the 7 completed chakras, and then the few fishes being the uncounted wisdom that's provided after that point. And then after they filled the baskets of the broken meat, the bread remaining, and they were left with 7 baskets full. So that completed process, with that God intervention at the top. And they that did eat were 4,000 men, besides women and children. So we went from 5,000 to 4,000. So this to me would be the cross, the fourfold nature of man, and stepping into that. So this would be, yeah. So I take this as a follow-up of the last sort of similar story that we were told about feeding the multitudes. This is like a completion part of that, and where to shift towards. Does that ring true, Charlie? Okay, cool. I'm getting a nod of approval. All right. Do you have anything else to say on 15, or do we want to try and keep going to 16? Okay, so we'll hop into 16. And so 16, the first verses that jumped out to me were 16:6. Then Jesus said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? Do not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000s, and how many baskets ye took up, neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000s, and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye did not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees? Then understood they howled that he bade them not beware of the leaven of the bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. So it somewhat defines it at the very end, but essentially saying, we can't. Jesus is like, well, I just did all these miracles. Like you just did this whole process, and you saw the magic of what just happened, and yet you still want to go back to this physical falsity, this lie, this lied creation that these Pharisees and these Sadducees have put before you. Like, how do you not see this? Oh, ye have little faith, and he you can see several times where Jesus gets frustrated by just people not paying attention, because it's so obvious. Like when you start doing it, it's so clear and obvious, and so he's like he's saying it's not the bread, it's not literal bread, it's their word, it's they're liars. And so when we base our reality on lies, when we base our reality on this falsity, there's nowhere to go. There's no life in that. It's always going to be built on this sand foundation where you're just going to be washed away. So we cannot build on lies. We have to build on the truth. We have to build with Jesus Christ, and knowing this story and this way and this path to follow. So yeah, that's what first jumped out at me in 16. Y'all got any thoughts on that? No. All right.
So, yeah, I was just wondering if Marie wanted to jump in there. Just remember that the what is the last line of chapter 15? Just before we jumped over, these are all very key. And so in 1539, he sent away the multitude again. So, because it takes, when you deal with the out there, it takes an enormous toll upon you. I feel it all the time. After each one of the shows, I give so much of, I give everything of my essence, and I feel, I wouldn't say it's not violated, but I do feel it's obviously it's a working of the process, it's a working of that inner mind, but I do feel tired afterwards, and I need to recharge, as Colleen knows, in silence, and then I fill up really quickly again and go. So that's also what's being said here. And I would imagine that all of you, especially Justin and Marie, are gonna get to know this feeling if they haven't already.
I know it.
Um, you know it. Okay, good. Because there is, when you're a conduit, there's a process within you that is being done here, and that it does take a toll upon the physical, because that's that 10%. So feeling we're feeling that to be channels and channeling this higher gnosis. So he sent away the multitude and took ship. Once again, this is Christopher Cross, crisscross, and to the X. And this is, so he sang and came into the coast of Magdala. Oh, wow. That's so beautiful, right? So he's tired, he's gone into meditation, and he's sailed his ship into the coast of our Divine Mother. That is so freaking beautiful. And it sets the pace for 16, right? And he's always set upon. So the Pharisees, also with the Sadducees, came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. So that's why you have to, at the end of these passages, you have to sail your ship into the safe cove or harbor of Magdala, of the sacred mother, of the sacred magnetic mother, and be recharged again. Wow, it's incredible, just incredible. And then Justin, you did just a really, really, really beautiful job. Once again, this passage is just showing the lack of importance of food, and the importance of taking no thought and trusting in God, the leap of faith, crossing over wall, the Berlin Wall, from East Germany, and crossing over into the higher realm. So So you did a beautiful job of that. Because again, it's showing it's not about the food. It's about your faith. It's about the thought that you do or you don't take. So there was one other. I was just gonna partake in here because it was really important. I'm just trying to find here now. I'm not seeing it right now. So please pray you both continue, and yeah, I'll jump in.
Yeah, and then, um,
Go ahead.
well, did you have anything to say on that portion?
I think I'm happy to hear Charlie say that because I was wondering, I do feel that sometimes, every time that, we have to step away from the magnitude or from not the magnitude, the multitude, to come back to the magnitude, to come back to our creator, to rest, to come back to the mother. I love that. I love it so much. I'm so glad you said that. Came into the coast of Magdala. I often find myself in meditation right after these shows, just immediately going to sit and just be quiet or laying and doing a guided or something to regroup and come back. Yeah. On we go.
Yeah, on we go. Well, the next passage that jumped out at me was, let's see. Well, it goes from,
Hey, and Justin, just really quickly, just before you rock it and roll it, and remember, neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many baskets he took up, 7 and 4. Justin was describing that individually really well. So 7 is God intervention, and 4 is the gift, which is the Christed form of us in the physical. But 7 plus 4 is 11. So what Jesus always gives you is within the temple, and 11 is between the temples, because 11 is the twin temple. So just remember the significance is always higher than just the individual number, the 7 and the 4 making 11. So he's taking them up into their minds via a ship, and giving them this peace, this and being filled with the abundance of God within the temple. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Justin.
oh, you're good. Um, yeah. So the next little bit, starting in 13, is essentially where Jesus is asking, who do you think I am, to the disciples, and Simon answers him and says, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. Um, and so he says all this to Peter, and then it continues where, in 21, from that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. So Jesus is describing that he's going to die. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. So remember that Jesus just praised Peter, saying, praising his faith for what he saw. But Jesus then says, but he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, and those that be of men. So this is really important, because no matter how long we've found this faith, and we see the connection, and we gain this clarity and connection with God, if we dip back into that fear mindset, that fear-based reality, which is the only way that the ego can control us, it's the only way that the cabal can control us, is when we are in fear, then we are that's why Jesus calls Peter Satan. I mean, it's a force that drives people. It's a force that really, um, drives you down that left-hand path. And so we have to be recognizing it whenever, we can respond to people with care when they are acting out of fear, but ultimately they are being led the wrong direction. So we have to call it out and say, hey, not today, Satan. As Debbie said, not today. And Jesus is very clear at that. And yeah, so just wanted to talk about that.
And that's brilliant, Justin. Just before Marie jumps in, that's brilliant. It is such an incredibly important passage because you're going from one moment of praising Peter for handing over his thinking, handing over his princely realm, which is the third ventricle of the brain, which is between the 11. And that's the whole point, because Jesus, the whole first point is that Jesus took everyone into the 11, okay? And then the gift to Peter, Simon Peter, is that he says, yes, thou art Christ, the Son of the living God. And he said, blessed art thou, Simon. So you see that because I've helped and I've taken you into the temple of 11. And then he then gives them more. See? So these are the rewards that are built into the work. So they've gone with Jesus into the temple. They have seen the higher truth. So then Jesus tells them the next part of the plan, the next part of the story. And this is incredible, because what's going to come through this is everlasting life. So this is, wow, thank you. But instead of saying, wow, thank you, I cannot believe that you're prepared to do this, and thank you, oh Lord, and thank you, dear precious Jesus, for doing this, Peter goes, you're not going to do this. I need you here and now, and you're not doing this. Get away from me, Satan. Get away from me, Satan, because in that moment, it is right back to the left brain, as Justin just said. So it's selfishness, because Jesus, I need you in my life. How could you possibly be willing to let these demons kill you and be gone from us? I need you here and now. And there's no God when you are selfish, because Jesus is saying, I am selflessness. I am ultimate selflessness, for I shall die of myself to give everlasting life for all those who choose to see it. And then Peter's going, no, don't leave me. And that's godless. So that's why the about turn and the rebuking of Simon Peter in that moment. And so it is just so crucial, because what's being said here is this leap of faith. This is what this portion is, because what's coming in the coming next week is going to just blow you away as we get into the 20s here, of what's being said, because oh my gosh, this is it's so good, and then it just gets better and better and better. But this is what it's all about, is this is the building. And so, remember, look at where they are in this story. Jesus is beginning to say to them, I'm coming close to returning into the belly of the beast. And these terrible things are going to happen because we're coming close to Passover. So that means that without saying it in the Bible, we're in the desert right now. So we're in Lent during these passages. This is Lent. And so this is what, to get us out of the desert so that we never have to go back into the desert again. See, this is the whole point of why Jesus does this, so that none of us have to go through all of this hell again and again and again. You have to know it. You can't just believe it. You have to know it. You can't stand hard and 10 of your wealth to the church and thou hunky-dory, and that's all Jesus was saying, and you're going to heaven because you give 10% of your wealth. No, you have to do the hard work, and that's giving 10% of you. And that's that tapeworm that feels good, tastes good, smells good. All those physical senses are luring you back into the satanic realm of those 5 earthly senses. But you have to forego them, and you have to say no, and you have to cross over, and that takes courage, and that takes strength, and that means you have to do the work. There's no better passage than right now to tell you that there are no aliens. There can't be. Or if there are, then we don't get to meet these aliens. The firmament won't roll back until such time that we first do this work. Either way, no one is coming to save you out of this hell we've got ourselves into, because we have to get ourselves out of this hell. Right? The dog star. We have to take this serious and become the children of God. The mirror of dog is God, and you have to take this serious. Why do you think the dog star is serious? We have to start taking all of this serious and do the work. No one's coming to save you. Only you can do this for you. And like the Batman movie, you cannot have the safety rope on you. You have to make this leap where everything is hanging on the line, and this can't happen to you soon enough. It can't happen, because if you make that leap in good faith, not fall, how could you ever fall? How would you ever think that the Father would let you fall into fear, in doubt, into misery, into pain, and into some kind of death or suffering? Of course not. Leaping unto the Father, you've won. The moment that fire within you says, I'm doing this jump, you just transmuted 1,000-fold. Bruce Wayne transmuted 1,000-fold, and of course he's going to make that leap, because he is of the crown. He is of the crown chakra, which is worn by the King, and that is the Christ within you that is risen. So that's what this is saying. Again, there's no aliens coming to save you. And if you're waiting for that, I'm sorry, but you're going to be waiting forever. And the only ever that you get by waiting is the wheel. And around and around and around you go. So you guys remember what I said to you way back when, a year ago, when you were first coming to me. And what did I say? That until you get to the point of a George Harrison or a John Lennon or a Colleen and Charlie, and you get to the point of saying, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this anymore. I am not going around the wheel. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to get off. I don't know how, but I'm just telling you, whatever is needed of me to do to not go around the wheel anymore, that's what I'm going to do. If you don't get to that point, if you do not get to the point of saying, I'm not going around the wheel anymore, you're going to go around the wheel again and again and again. You have to get to this point to say, I'm willing to do anything. And again, what is the anything? It's the leap of faith. Without any ropes, without any guarantees. It's beauty, it's perfection, it's what has to happen. Because it is the killing of your left brain, because you're saying, the ego is saying, but you're gonna, but what if you fall? But it's gonna hurt. But what if you? That's what the ego is, and you're saying, I deny you. I deny myself of this lower realm. Our great friend Miguel, deny thyself. I deny thyself of the lower realm. I denounce you, Satan. I am making this leap, and nothing can stop me. And I will not fall. I will fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Let my spirit carry me. Well, that's the God within you. That's God consciousness. And of course it will carry you, because he wants you, but you have to come of your own free will. This is that free will moment. That's why I say that moment for all of you can't come soon enough. You have to be ready, willing, and able to make this leap for your life. And I'm not kidding you, because the only freedom is inside of you. And this is the leap that you're making to the right brain, where you will exist at the right-hand side of Father forever. And the gift is you get to keep this physical realm. You get to stay here. And all it takes is the continual leap of faith. And every Passover, every single March 22nd, you once again will be placed on that shelf, on that ledge, and you will be asked to take that leap again. And every year it gets easier and easier and easier to do, because the fear resuscitates and it recedes. And the rising tide of the mother who wants to get back home to the father just lifts you higher and higher, and home you will get. So we have to do this. That's what's being said here. There are no aliens coming for you. I am sorry to be the one to burst your bubble, but there are no one's coming for you.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, and just to read the last passage real quickly, because I think this sums it up really well. So then said Jesus unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death, till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. It's just perfect. Like it's just demonstrating like what we have to do, the rewards that are built into it. This is describing the chrism oil raising and this regenerative process that we can step into. We don't have to die. That's a myth pushed onto us. We get to experience all of this in this physical form, fully regenerating as long as we do the work, as long as we're 100% dedicated to it. And yeah, it just that such a great way to end that chapter. Such a good little summary, bringing it all back in. We've got to let go of our life. We've got to be prepared to lose our old self. Let go of that facade that you've been carrying around. Let go, take off your mask, take off that, all of that. Like just let it go. Let it go and trust. Just have faith. Take that leap of faith.
So, Justin, that wow, thank you, just brilliant. Think of the movie The Matrix. When Neo is downloaded all of this gnosis, that when he's connected to the ultimate computer, to the Akashic records, and then it's just funneling into him, and it's just like he's a machine, man. It's like 12 hours straight, and he wants more. He's just processing all of this gnosis, and that's what happened. That's what happens in meditation, by the way. That is literally what's happening to you in meditation. Is all of that gnosis is just going in through the stem and raising up. It's perfect. I mean, just this movie, wow. And then, so what does he do? He then goes into I know kung fu. Wow, that's so cool. And then what does Morpheus say? Show me. You think you do? Show me. And then they battle it out, and it's not working well for Neo. And then Morpheus says, "So why do you think that you?" And Neo says, "You're too fast, man. You're too fast." And says, "Do you think that my size or my speed has anything to do in this room? I just finished telling you that this is pure thought." So nothing in here is solid or real, and that all of the rules are bendable, completely bendable. And so you think it's my size, my strength, and my speed that is defeating you. Do you think that's that you're bringing out? Yeah. Comes at him again. And what does he say? Don't think you can hit me. No, you can hit me. And then Morpheus is like, because the risen Morpheus is able to stop the speed now at which Neo is generating his force, because it's heavenly force. And then he says, "You're ready for the jump room. Take him to the jump room." Do you not see that? And then everybody falls. What does that mean? He fell. What does that mean? Everybody falls the first time. Singularity to duality. You have to fall the first time. That's the singularity to the duality. But in the duality, when you make this leap of faith, you will not fall. You will not fall. You will gain the singularity. So again, is this not the diamond? Is this not what I describe as unity consciousness? So in singularity, we are at one with the Father, and there's the peak of the diamond or the pyramid, okay? The phallic portion of the pyramid. and then fall into duality upon the plane. Okay, so this then makes the plane, and so there's our pyramid in plain sight. But when we let go of the physical boundaries in this materialist plane, and we do not believe it, we want to turn to take the leap of faith, we fall again. But we're falling here to the singularity. Oh, that's what a diamond is. Diamond is a is perfection, and is a man's best friend, a lady's best friend. It's, it's everything, because it's telling that one story. The shape. So remember what I said about our language? It's the hieroglyphics, that all of these shapes, they're all telling you the story. So the diamond is the singularity of God. We fell into the duality until we activate the pineal gland, the portal, and we say, no, Father, I want to come home to you no matter what. And I'm going to let go. I'm going to let go. I'm going to close my eyes, or I'm going to soar like an eagle. I'm going to let go, because, Father, I just want to come fall. And you fall back into the singularity. And there's the shape of the diamond. And that's the journey that's why the sixth, and that's why the chakra is the third eye chakra, which is activating your pineal gland. And your pineal gland activated is a diamond. And there's that shape. There's that shape. And that is singularity to duality, back to the singularity. And think of the genius of God. He gives you a mother along the way. So you disobeyed me. You wandered into the western portion of the Garden of Eden. You tasted of the tree I told you that you will surely know pain and suffering and death from. And you did it anyways. And I love you so much. Here's your mom. Wow. What a guy. What a guy. What a story. What a journey. And I just wanted to add that in. It's just, wow.
I mean, what is there to say after that, Justin? It's like, not much. Wow, that was so, I just got that on such a big way. Just wanted to sit there for a second and marinate. So good. Wow.
Take me to the jump room. Take Neo to the jump room. He's ready. Take him to the jump room. It's the leap of faith. It's the leap of faith. That's why I cannot tell you enough. These movies, wow. Wow. Some people who got it, and they're sharing it with us. So they're not many. There are not many, but there are a few.
Gratefully. Yeah. Thanks.
And by the way, not made in Hollywood. V for Vendetta, Matrix, not made in Hollywood, made in the Southern Hemisphere, Australia and New Zealand. Lord of the Rings, New Zealand.
Wow, Charlie. Wow, Justin. Another great show. So many nuggets in this one. It just felt like a full on, I feel like maybe we were sitting there having the 5 loaves and the 2 fish.
Well, we were Neo, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what happened at the start of the show, and then we're just sitting there. Yeah, and it's just being downloaded. And that's the thing I want to share with you. The gift of meditation is this. There's no ego. There's no ego, because when you learn all of this stuff, how you learn it is you realize it's been here all the time. How did I not see this before? So I am no genius. If I were a genius, I would have truly known this right away. I would have seen this and known this right away. I'm 57. I'm 57. So you shouldn't be exalting me or calling me a genius. You should be saying, Charlie, I could have used you 10 years earlier. How come you didn't get this sooner? Because I was adrift. I was adrift at sea instead of snuggling safely into the coast of Magdala. I knew better, but I didn't do better. Now that I know better, I am trying hard, and I am trying to do my best, and I'm trying to do better. So this is the beauty of this journey. It does not, nobody comes through this process and says that they're a genius and that you need to subscribe to me, or that you need to give me your money, or that, you need to worship me. No, no, no. It's I was a fool, but I'm no longer a fool, and this is how I did it. And if you want to as well, here it is for free, because how can I charge for this when it's God's creation and not my own? And then, you let the chips fall where they may. And that's, again, this leap of faith. God will make sure that we have enough. Colleen and I, we just spent, we don't want to announce too much just yet, but we spent a lot of our funds on something, but it is much more than just for us. So it's very exciting, because it's life, and more to come. But it's a leap of faith, and you're trusting that there will be more, and that everything, and of course there will be, of course there will be, of course.
Of course there will be. So excited. Leap of faith. That quantum leap. Wow. What a trip. What a trip.
Yeah, this was a great show. I mean, this is another really powerful one. Loving it.
We're so grateful. I know everybody in the chat too. So much love in there.
And I'll let you in on one of the things. Sorry for our internet today, but some very weird things have been happening here. And this happened. Colleen was going to.
We lost you. Right when he's about to talk about it.
Is attending to them, but
we lost about 5 seconds of what you, or not 5, maybe 2 seconds of what you just said.
Okay. So what happened earlier today is when our electrician came to the house, he asked if everything was okay, are you guys all right and stuff, and we said, yeah, of course, why? And he said, because I just saw the military, like, we live in the middle of nowhere. And so he just said, really close to us, he said, I just saw the military chasing a guy with a gun. And I heard when he first came through our gate to get into the area where we are, he said he heard gunshots. And I didn't hear any gunshots, but Lalo did. Lalo said that he heard gunshots, and he saw military with weapons unveiled chasing someone who appeared to be carrying a weapon. So just remember, this is all very real. This is all very serious, and those who do the work are always protected. Because Colleen was a little taken back at first, and I said, don't be taken aback. Do not fear, do not worry. The armor of God is such that if you need military camping out in camouflage around your residence, then that's what'll happen. So this is all so magical. Please, none of you give up on President Trump. This is very real. This is very real. Don't give up on any of this. And while he cannot be your savior, nor does he want to be your savior, he is the one, 45, that has been called and is coming to give us another chance to get it right. So we have not been talking about this because I promised you from January 6th onward that I wouldn't. And there's nothing for me to say. I said it all. If you need to go back to all those podcasts that I did on it, and they're all there. It's all there. But please don't think that I'm not on side with any of this anymore because I don't talk about it. Colleen and I are all in. We are all in with all of this because we want it all. And 45 and 35 and 55, they're all in as well. 35 is JFK, 45 is Donald Trump, 55 is JFK Jr., and they're all in as well. And 45 is 777, and 55 is 888. These numbers are real. They are very real. And just we're in Lent right now. So it's chaotic. And if you follow even Santa surfing right now, because as the wonderful, beautiful soul that she is, she's playing a role because she wants to, because she wants to help. But she's giving conflicting information right now because we're in the desert. So that's why I say, it's now's the time to focus on you and do the work. But please know that Colleen and I absolutely know that President Trump is Cyrus 45. Please know, we absolutely know John F. Kennedy Jr. is alive. That was a brilliant show we did, Justin, on decoding the Jay Leno episode. That was awesome. If you haven't watched it, that's on Justin's channel. If you haven't watched it, you should. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant show. They didn't outfox him. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is Sun Tzu, The Art of War. He's genius. He's outfoxed them. He's outfoxed them all. He swore at a young age he would do this, and he's done it. He'll come out when the time is right. Okay? And at the end of the day, I would guess that we've had to pay 10%. We've had to pay 1 year of our life. I got one more silver dollar. I got one more silver dollar, and the Q team just asked us to pay the silver dollar with 1 year out of our lives for this.
Yeah,
So
I call that a bargain.
I call that a bargain, the best I've ever had, Justin. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, another great show. It looks like Marie's connection dropped. Um, but just to kind of go over quick announcements. Tomorrow I'm gonna have another Telegram group chat, probably sometime in the evening my time to give a different time slot. And then Marie, are you still doing stuff tomorrow? Are you gonna do? I know you mentioned potentially
I
maybe
think
not this week.
I'm gonna wait till April. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So stay
Yeah.
tuned for that. And then we've got our Song Decode show coming up on Sunday. So that's immediate future. And then obviously Miraculous Monday every Monday, which is always a beautiful place to be. Make sure you're there if you want to get some good healing done. Um, and
And
yeah, so
Justin, what I was thinking for the next Q&A, which would be another week down the road there, but what you might consider doing, I think this might be an incredible way of doing it because it's going to give an opportunity, an intimate opportunity for all of us to get to know the rest of our family a little better. Is that if you and I do a Q&A, and each week, or sorry, every 2 or 3 weeks that we do them, if we invite in, say, 6 of our family, you can choose them, and and so there would be 8 of us in the call. It would be a Q&A, but through them, and everyone would get to see faces with names and get a deeper connection to everyone and get to hear much more. So it would be Q&A, but it would be a discussion as well. And I think, Justin, you can maybe stew on that a little bit, let it simmer, and see how you feel about it. But that might be a wonderful way to do the Q&As, is to invite an intimate group of six of our family into it, and that would make for, that's sort of boring from what Marie does, because it works so well on her shows and what you do as well. So let me know
yeah,
what you think of that.
yeah. I mean, don't need a simmer. I think that's a fantastic idea. Let's do that. I think that'd be great. So I'll think of a good way to pick people. We'll definitely diversify and do different people each show, each time we
Yeah.
do this, just to get everyone a chance to get on. Um, but yeah, Yeah, let's do that. I think that'd be great.
Wonderful.
All right, Marie, did you have any closing comments?
Just so much love and gratitude to you guys and to everyone and to this beautiful material. I'm just in the wow of it all right now. Thank
That's a
you.
good place to be. Charlie, you got anything else before we close out?
Matthew 17, 1 and 2. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, and he brought them up into the high mountain apart. And yes, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. Wow. Wow. It's what it's all about. It's pure magic. We started the show with magic. The whole show has been magic. And cast thy nets to the right, and this is the ride you get. And like Marie said on, I love that. Marie said on her Miraculous Monday show, she said, I have a feeling, friends, I have a feeling that we're gonna get you're gonna get to connect with each other in the physical sooner than later. Yeah, we're gonna see each other in the physical, and we will. We're creating a family here. Trust, show faith, and this we will transfigure before one another in white raiment. You notice the new shirt Colleen? I'll
So
put
good.
myself back on video today. This is the shirt Colleen got me yesterday, so it's beautiful.
I love
And
it.
It's so good.
so yeah, well, I'm normally in bug infested, leaf infested, dirty garments, but not today. So, yep, love you all. What you're part of is a miracle. Do not attribute this to me. Do not give me any credit. All the credit goes to God. All the credit is to this Creator who gave us everything. And I'm just a humble servant, and I am so happy to be happy as a humble servant. And I bless all of you for being here. And remember, bless is not a bad word. It's not be less. It is BLE, which is the lighted to the mother, and then that's the double sine wave, which is the torus field, which is you, which is everything. So bless your food, bless your friends, bless your enemies, bless any and everything you can, because every time you do, it's like when you smile, you bless the child. Every time you bless someone or something, you're invoking Jesus Christ into what it is that you're blessing, and you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. So.
Truly. Yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you for another incredible show. We love you all so very much. Love you, love you, love you. And we'll see you next time.